Welcome to Lifted, elevating the game. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of the Lifted podcast, part 3 of the Minnesota tournament series with a special guest today, but I'll get to him in a bit. Before that, a couple of announcements regarding the tournament. Officially, 18 teams. We are going to be playing the third day at the mosque at the MPC. So that's a good thing. You know, that atmosphere is great. Everyone knows that that always brings the best out of everyone. That one court, everyone's inside of it. It encapsulates everything about volleyball. So that's going to be fun. And then we have another special announcement that next week the schedule will be exclusively released on the Lifted podcast. So whoever the next guest is, which you will find out at the end, he and I will have the luxury of going over some of the games before we start his interview. And I'll highlight some of the games. The full schedule will be released to all the teams right after the podcast is released, but the highlight games will be talked about in advance. So I think that's pretty cool. First time ever, I think, for me, for a tournament. Give everyone about a week to get used to, to get to strategize and see what's happening. Now to my guest. And it's an honor, privilege to finally convince this man to come on and do an interview. It took me, I think, want to say 5 years now. I tried in 2018. It didn't work. I tried last time. It didn't work in December. So now, finally, he said yes. And I'm extremely excited to have a very special friend to me, a mentor, and a man I've played many, many games against. Whether that's practice, whether that's in tournaments. And I have a nickname for him called the Hybrid, which I will get into later and explain why I call him this. But that man is Ahmed Sumar. Ahmed, assalamu alaikum, and thank you for being here today.
Alaikum salam, Salman. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. It's, guys, you don't understand. This was the hardest guy to get on to do an interview with me, but I thank you so much for being here. I know it's not something that you like getting on. You're not a man of many words, but you're here today, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm gonna use it to all my capacity if I can.
My privilege.
Let's get into right off the bat. The first time you were introduced to the game of volleyball, you were in Dar, I'm assuming. Talk about where you were born, and then how you ended up, getting into the game, or who truly showed you the game of volleyball first.
Okay, Salaam alaikum. So, born in Dar es Salaam.
Okay.
The game, those who know my father, my father was a great sportsman.
Okay.
He played a lot of sports. I'm sure I get it from him. And he's our father is the one that introduced us to all the sports that we played.
Okay.
Multiple sports, and he was a true competitor. He would never settle for less.
Right.
And I have an older brother that was very hard on me when I first started.
Right.
He also happened to call me. Sometimes used to call me. I was an embarrassment to the family. Yeah. I just couldn't get the ball over the net. I was that weak.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started to actually play the game?
Probably 15, 16, and I couldn't get the ball over the net.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
so Dar es Salaam, it's the hard ball, right? The tongue.
Exactly. So it was tough. Yeah. So who taught you how to play? Where did you learn? Who was like the guy you looked up to, or the guy that, walked you through the game?
So it started off playing with our father, we call it backyard here in Dar es Salaam.
Right.
Anywhere you can set up and go and Dori and just play, right?
Exactly.
And then watching, me and my brother, we're only a year and a half apart.
Okay.
So everywhere we went most of the time together.
Right.
He played, and I tried to play, He gave me a lot of chances
Mm-hmm.
and then get thrown
Mm-hmm.
the third line. Just watch everyone play. Keep trying, have bandages on my hand, like tied up,
Right.
still trying.
Right.
Finally got into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it didn't take long, but yeah, now I'm getting the ball over,
Right. Right.
and that's it. That's how we all started. And mind you, in Dar es Salaam, it wasn't like easy to. I mean, we never got a chance to play with the oldies.
Right. Exactly.
So there was, even if we had to play a tournament, it would be a separate kids tournament. So we never played
Mm-hmm.
with the
Yeah.
oldies.
When did you get a chance to first play in a tournament? Was there an age that they told you, okay, you're ready now, let's put you in a tournament? And what was that experience like?
So if I remember correct, it was I was kind of 17 years old maybe,
Okay. Okay.
and at that time, all the BAP of
Mhm.
Union were kind of fading out, right, phasing out,
Right.
and there was an internal tournament where all Ishnashris were able
Mhm.
to register, and uh, teams were picked, and you just
Mhm.
play with
Right. Right.
whoever your team is
Right.
now. And this is a very. I mean, I've talked about this multiple times.
Right.
I was lucky enough
Mhm.
to be picked in Najaf's team, Najaf Dirani, the legend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here we are in the tournament,
Mm-hmm.
playing, and so that's where the beginning was. But since we are on this topic, I would like to share one small incident
Of
that happened
course.
at the tournament.
Of course. Of course.
So we were in the playoff time,
Okay.
and we get on the court. This is right before Maghrib or after Maghrib. We had a game,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so there was like, I remember like Tessin Hirji was part of our team,
Mm-hmm.
another legend,
Mm-hmm.
Jabir Bimji,
Mm-hmm.
others. So the youngest was myself and Kazim Merali from Birmingham.
Oh
And
yeah, of course. Yes, of
yes.
course. Yeah.
So me and Kazim were the youngest guys in the team. And
Wow.
it so happened when the time was ready, the only people on the court was myself, Kazim Merali, and Najaf.
Three of you.
That's it. And we are Najaf uncle, Najaf uncle, Najaf uncle now. He goes, and he speaks Kutchi, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He goes, problem karo hai.
Yeah.
Hekro hudao bore, hekro hidao bore, baki jo aam kar dos.
No way.
Guess what? We ended up winning the first game with 3.
Wow.
And
Wow.
me and Kazim just played our part. That's it. Barely getting over, and that's it. Najaf Dirani, he played the whole court by himself.
That was your first tournament.
That was my first tournament. Yeah.
Wow.
Internal.
What an experience.
Yep. And yeah, then everybody showed up. We're a full team for the next game, and we ended up winning.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. And I don't remember whether we won that tournament or not, but that game was one heck of an experience.
I can only imagine. Everyone talks. I grew up, one of my mentors, Najaf Uncle. Everyone talks about Najaf Uncle. Everyone talks about how much of a legend he was. And I truly didn't, I don't think I understand how much of a legend he was, because I never saw him in Dar, and I never saw him with his team. And I think he had all his brothers or something like that. And we'll talk about him later on a little bit, but I know that he played an integral role in your career as well as mine. But that's crazy to think that a guy decides, you hear these stories about Najaf, you hear these stories about Johnny Bojani, marhum. Like, they're just, when it comes to volleyball, they'll do anything. Like, they don't care.
Absolutely.
They don't care. So when do you get your first chance on Dar Salaam? Are you playing for Dar Union at this time?
Yeah. So yeah, it's so here we are in Dar Union.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, it was like all the seniors were gone. Maybe a year later or same year towards the end, well, elections come. Nobody's willing to stand. I become the captain.
Wow, at such a young age.
Yeah, there's no players. It's all
Oh
youngs.
my
Me,
God.
myself, Mirali, and all friends. That's it. Now we're representing Union.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I think a year later, now here, this is how Dar es Salaam Union is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is an important story for the youngsters of today to hear.
Right.
Dar es Salaam being a big Jamaat,
Mm-hmm.
when there's Supreme Council, And if you are somebody that plays multiple sports, well,
Yeah.
you don't get to pick where you want to go.
Yep.
The club decides where they need you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that tournament, Supreme Council, I believe it was 1994,
Mm-hmm.
and well, I was playing cricket for the club,
Okay.
so I didn't get to play. Being the captain of Dar Union, I didn't get to play volleyball.
So being the captain of Dar Union volleyball, you
Yeah.
were not allowed to play. Well, they decided that you will be
Yeah.
playing what? Cricket for them?
Cricket. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
And that's the time when I think Tessin Hirji was brought in to be the captain,
Mhm.
and I believe Mohammad Bhanji also played. Mohammad Bhanji was in America. I think he
Okay.
traveled. He was, yeah, and he played for that team, and apparently ended up winning the tournament. We
Wow.
won the
So
Supreme Council.
Bhanji, Allentown Bhanji,
Yes, Allentown Bhanji. Yeah,
went
I
to
believe.
Dar and
Yeah.
played in that Supreme Council tournament
Yes.
for Dar Union.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
And unfortunately, I was not part of that team.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
When did you ever win a championship?
Oh yes, yes. So then now here we are coming back. You know,
Mhm.
now the team is building because now we have championships and we have
Right.
people like legends like Tessin Hirji, who used to be
Right.
a Haidaris guy.
Mhm.
Now he's in Union,
Mhm.
and well, a lot of guys join Union. And I don't know if you've heard of Akil Gulamsin.
No, I have not.
Okay, he was, I believe he was in New York, but he was very popular in the UK, I
Okay.
believe. And he was my true mentor,
Okay.
Akil Gulamsin. And I ended up winning a lot of tournaments with him.
I think I remember or recall someone mentioning him in one of the interviews about how instrumental he was in the UK. I think it was
Yeah.
Mutzvi, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, Murtaza
So,
Virani, I
so
think, mentioned
Akil,
him.
yes,
Yeah.
Akil Gulamsin is the guy who actually taught me. I mean, one lesson that I've learned from him, and I implement every day when I play
Mhm.
volleyball,
Yeah.
is he used to say, "Now remember, in Dar es Salaam, we're playing with a hard ball
Yeah.
and two touch
Two touch. Mm-hmm.
and only one hand digging,
Oh,
one hand digging."
okay.
I was the front center, so my role is to play as a a front center, and take everything out from the net that other people hit.
There was no netty.
No netty, no netty.
Oh my God.
The netty thing came later on, but
Later
it's
on, yeah.
no netty.
Mm.
So that's how and every time Akil gets to pick, he picks me as his front
Mhm.
center,
Right.
and I get to learn every tournament with him.
Right. And this is in Dar es Salaam.
This is in Dar es Salaam.
Okay.
So well, this is happening, and we keep winning. And now remember, in Dar es Salaam, there are multiple tournaments a year. The biggest
Right.
one is the Ramzan tournament,
Mm-hmm.
but there used to be Aga Khan in Diamond Jubilee.
Yeah.
There used to be a Lohana tournament, a Vyamshala tournament, and we
Okay.
participated in all of these.
Did you ever play in Bahadur Cup?
No, I never made it to Bahadur Cup.
Okay. Okay. Because I know Najaf Uncle tells me so many stories about Bahadur.
Right. So I think by the time when we started being actively playing,
Right.
it was gone.
It was gone. Yeah. Okay.
It was gone. Yeah. So that was that. And then now that Union is thriving
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's joining Union,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately for us youngsters, again, politics becomes
Of course. Of
a big
course.
part.
Of course.
And well, here and there. And then I decided to move on, and I joined Haidaris.
Okay. So
Yes.
wow. So explain what Haidaris is for people like me who don't know what Haidaris was.
So Haidaris was another team,
Mhm.
mostly Ishnashis,
Okay.
but they were like the happening team when we were growing up, when we were just
Oh.
like we were still not playing with the oldies. Now
Yeah.
legends like Jafar Karmali,
Mhm.
popularly known as Jafari,
Yep. Yep.
lefty, Arif Rambo. I don't know if
Okay.
you've ever heard of
Yes,
Arif
of
Rambo.
course. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Arif Rambo. I don't think there's ever been a player like Arif Rambo. I haven't seen anywhere.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I mean that time Arif
Yeah.
Rambo, you know,
Yeah.
Najaf, his brother Ashu, and all that. So most of the time during those days, a final would be Haidaris versus Jaffrey's.
Okay.
Jaffrey's were the Najaf, Ashu, Hasnain,
Yes.
the three
Yes.
brothers, and
Yes.
so that was um, Haidaris. Now,
Yeah.
uh, so this Jafar and all these guys, Asgu.
Oscar
Yes,
Shubraj.
yes. Asgu was a
Wow.
big part of Haidaris. And my cousin Abdul Sumar, and there was
Wow.
another one, Hasnain Abbas. These are all legends that I'm talking about.
So these guys are in the finals usually against Najaf's teams, which is Jaffrey's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Going on. And then, so that was that time. And then slowly, Bhanji made the Haidaris team. So Bhanji, so I grew up watching Bhanji playing there.
No way.
You were still not allowed to play with these big guns.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Bhanji is playing there. Aslam.
Oh, okay.
Aslam.
Wow, man. This is like these are a lot of superstar names.
Yeah, Aslam. Aslam was a big name there.
Wow.
So now slowly some are phasing out and the others are taking over. But just by playing with these guys, they become equally good, or
Exactly.
they go a step
Exactly.
higher. The game evolves.
Exactly.
So that was then. So this was the Haidaris team, and I joined Haidaris. So at that time, Aslam had moved.
Okay.
Aslam was living in Zanzibar.
Okay.
I joined Haidaris, and the first, I mean, you are young at that time, right?
Yep.
And you got egos and all that.
Exactly.
Right? So the only goal for me at that time is I want to beat these guys.
Yeah, of course.
With Union, that's it, right? That's the ego,
of course.
right? So here, Ramzan comes, first tournament. First thing I remember, Aslam. Because Aslam's brother, Musa, was still playing with us.
Okay.
So I call Aslam. I'm like, Aslam, this is, I've joined this now, how about you come play for us? Because, I mean, I can't come every day.
Yeah, this is Zanzibar, yeah.
She goes, yeah, let's make a deal. You make quarterfinals, I promise you I'll come.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Aslam.
Okay.
So this is our first tournament, I believe, 97. And we make the quarterfinals. All right, Aslam. Aslam comes. Win quarters, we win semis. We beat Union in finals.
Wow.
Guess who the MVP of the tournament is?
Who?
Aslam.
He played 3 series and he won MVP.
That's it.
Wow.
This was Aslam. And you guys are lucky that you have him there.
We are. And to be honest, at his age, the way he plays, he puts a lot of these kids to shame. He puts us to shame sometimes. There's some practices, when you get older, some practices you got it. And some practices, you sometimes you're like a little tired that day or something.
Yeah.
Man, when Aslam's got it, I think he got the best, probably the best, hardest ball to take in practice till today.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you hear so much about Aslam, but I don't really know much about his past because I met him here when he was playing for Caber or Jaffrey's and then Orlando Union now. But man,
now you know, right?
Now I know.
And he's so down to earth that he would never speak of his past.
Yeah. You barely hear about it. I mean, I've talked to him so many times and I've had very good conversations about volleyball with him, but you're right. You barely, he won't really talk about, all the championships he's won and all the MVPs he's won. And it's a lot apparently.
Then again, Ramzan tournament. Now, we only made that deal with Ramzan tournament because it was at boarding house at Union's home court.
Oh my God.
So I didn't do, we were not, it was hard, right, to come for every tournament.
Of course.
Next year, Ramzan comes again. Aslam gets a phone call.
Okay.
Same thing.
Wow.
Comes, plays 3 games, wins the MVP, we win the championship.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then the third year, I think we lost, I believe. That was 1 year that we lost.
Do you ever go back to Dar Union?
Yes, so that was the end of that. And then, people started like, all right, they don't want to play. Oh, by the way, that team also included of Mohsin Makoti.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, another legend, right?
Yeah. Man, this team, I mean, how could that team lose, right? Like, it's like all the names you're throwing out there, they're all legends. They're all superstars.
yeah. So that was that, and then I think Hader is that. Then they closed down. We closed down. Everybody moved on.
Okay.
And then we all went back to Union then.
And
then
you play in Union for
yes,
how long?
with Union until I moved in to the US in 2001. So another maybe 2.5, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, got the privilege of playing friends Akil always.
Mm-hmm.
That time also played with Bashir Deuji. I don't know if you've heard of
Yeah,
him.
of course. I met Bashir. I went to Ziyarat with him. Yeah.
Okay, they call him Bashir Komba.
Komba, yeah.
Yes, yeah, I played front center for him, won tournaments with him.
Mm-hmm.
Bashir, Aslam, Akil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you won championships there or no?
Absolutely, yes.
And in 2001, you moved to the States.
Yes.
Where do you move to? You moved to Allentown.
No, I moved to New Jersey.
Okay.
I moved to Morristown first, and then I moved to
Morristown.
Jersey City.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to Jersey City.
Okay.
And that's it for sport. My sports life actually came to an end.
It just stopped.
It just stopped. No cricket.
Oh my God.
Nothing.
And you're young still, and you're I'm sure you want to
well,
play.
Responsibilities, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that's that, and all. We kept going.
And when do you move to? When do you finally touch? Well, let's not get there. But when do you move to Allentown?
So before I moved to Allentown, I touched the ball once.
Okay.
And I have a story for that as well.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about that.
So here, I used to come to Husseini, right, in Queens.
Yeah, in Queens, yeah.
Yeah, I used to come there very, very rarely. You'd see me there.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to meet people, and who's this? Shabir, Oklahoma, Shabir Shivji.
Yes, Shabir, Oklahoma. Yeah.
So Shabir, Oklahoma used to come to practice.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked. He goes to me, "Oh, I passed there, Jersey City. I can pick you up." So one day we talked, and I'm like, "Okay." So he picks me up.
Okay.
I think Saturday night, I believe. That's when they were practicing, and not Friday.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
It was Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up coming to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the first time coming to an indoor volleyball court.
Yes.
Here I am, playing the front line.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who's the netty on the side that I'm playing?
Who?
You're dead.
Oh my God! Wow. Full circle, huh?
Yeah, your dad was the netty.
I mean, you outlasted him. That's a good start.
So here we are now, coming from Dar Salaam, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that you have to hit the net here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm just playing everything.
The game was changing at that time. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm playing everything over. And your dad keeps turning in. Big net. I'm like, I'm just ignoring him. Big net. I'm just playing over. Then he gets angry at me.
Yeah.
So and he he starts using the K word.
Yeah, that's my dad. Yeah.
So I go, listen, man. Where I come from, you only when you hit the ball in the net, that means you messed up.
It's a bad thing. Yeah, exactly.
It's a bad thing. So I don't know anything.
I don't know any better. Yeah.
So I played that night. After that, I went home. I told my wife, you know what? These guys don't know what.
They're telling me to hit the net.
Never go back to play volleyball.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So you played your first practice in the States was with New York Union.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great.
I have a connection with New York, man.
You do, man. You do. And then eventually you moved to Allentown.
Yeah.
And that is 2005?
No, 2003.
Okay.
2003 in November.
Mm-hmm.
I think November. Yeah, around November.
And do you think about playing at that time?
Yeah. Actually, I moved to Allentown, and I joined my cousin Shabir Sumar. I worked for him, and Mustafa Jaffer. They were partners.
Okay.
Mulana.
Okay.
So I worked for them.
Okay.
And here I found out that, every Friday there's volleyball practice. Now, I know at this time, I haven't seen anyone play here.
Yeah, true.
So Shabir goes to me, Jasu volleyball room. I said, Jasu.
Yeah.
So I go with Shabir, right? He's my cousin.
Yeah, of course.
Takes me to Kutztown, Union practice.
Yep.
So, we go play for Union.
Mm-hmm.
Get there, Murtaza comes. Mustafa catch. Mustafa bijiti maramech.
Oh. So Mustafa was playing for Challengers at the time.
Challengers, yeah. So I
No
go,
way.
Bhanji there, Kazim Ballu, Bhanji,
Mhm.
Asghar Ballu,
Yeah.
Riyaz,
Yeah.
Akbar Rizvi.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's have fun.
Yeah.
It's all right, having fun, playing volleyball, right? So
Yeah.
at least nobody's telling me to hit the net,
Okay, that's good.
So
That's a good start.
yeah, so enjoying, having baraza, having fun,
Mm-hmm.
just playing. And then one of the days that I think now I'm into it.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting the competitor in me is now enjoying
It's
volleyball.
coming out now. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Now you're understanding the game and you're feeling the ball, and now you understand indoor and floating and yeah.
So here we are, maybe sometimes in 2004 or I don't remember the dates.
How old are you at this time, if you don't mind me asking?
Uh,
That was what, 19 years ago?
Yeah.
You're 47 now.
Yep.
So you're a young 28-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
okay.
You're feeling it. You're still in your prime, getting to your prime.
Yeah, exactly. This is it. So yeah, our practice was canceled. Union practice gets canceled.
Okay.
And Mustafa is all bragging about his practice, going to practice.
Challengers, yeah.
Now, at that age, when you hit Monday, you're waiting for that Friday.
That's all you think about.
Friday, right?
That's all you think about.
Yeah.
Especially in Allentown, that's all you think about.
So here we are. Friday comes, practice cancel. Mustafa goes, "Oh, Munji practice hai, hum na to practice." So he goes to me, "Well, you can come as a guest." I'm like, "You sure?"
Oh, man.
Let me call Uncle Mo. This is Marhum Mohirji.
Mohirji.
Yeah. So Mustafa calls and he goes, "Yeah, Icheta, you can come."
Mm-hmm.
So I go practice with Challengers. Oh my God. It's like,
it was something else.
Day and night.
Really?
Day and night.
When you were playing in 2004 or 2003, when you started playing with Union, did you play any tournaments with them?
No.
Okay, so you
no.
So you're just practicing. You're just practicing.
Yeah, just practicing.
Okay.
And it was not. 2003. I moved in November. But I think around January, because before Azhar was born, I was already in Challengers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think early 2004.
So you were kind of still like getting your feet wet, understanding Allentown, understanding the talent. You didn't really make a thorough decision at that time.
I didn't even know that there's two teams.
Coming from where you're coming from, you don't understand this. Yeah.
Right. So I just have the love for the game.
Yeah.
Now going for that first practice, and oh my God.
Yeah.
Shabir Joe, Kausar, and all these legends, man.
Yeah.
Guess what? Well, this is it. This is where I belong.
You felt it.
Come on. This is the competition. I don't want to go to Baraza. I want to play.
Exactly.
So here, so go for the practice. Well, that's it. That was done. Practice was done, and played like one game as one or two games as front side.
Okay.
And they moved me to front center, and I stayed there until I left Challengers.
Yeah, and then that's my time recalling you in Challengers is you as a front center.
That's it. So, and oh my God, yeah. So then I go. We finish practice. We're going back home. I'm saying, Mustafa, I want to join this team, man. How do you join this team?
Yeah.
Now, listen, I don't know the past, right?
Yes, you don't know
my friends
the history,
that
the beef,
I know are over there.
Yeah.
Bhanji, Ballu.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? I don't know what happened. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I want to play.
Yeah.
And that's it. I joined Challengers.
And when you join Challengers, is there heat?
Yeah, my friends were upset.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out the history.
Yeah, exactly.
But to me, it didn't matter. I wanted to play.
Yeah. And you took that opportunity to play in competitive practice alongside winning at the time, right? Because Challengers was a strong team, and they had just come off a championship in 2002, I believe. So yeah, they're still fresh, they're still young. You're playing front center.
Yep.
With Sam.
Yeah, Sam is the backcenter. Arif on one side and Kausar on the other.
Oh, so tell me about that. Tell me about that experience with First of all, did you get a chance to play with Mohirji?
In practice.
Yeah. What was that like? What was that challenger vibe like? What was it like with Kausar? And again, I talk about it in my Sammy interview. They're very different people. Like they're very
true competitors.
Yes, true competitors, man.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that whole experience like for you?
It was great. So the talk was, and always heard that, and we always thought of that, right? Every time we go to a tournament, half our battle is won just by the noise that we make entering the court.
100%.
While we're on the court, that everyone is screaming and shouting.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So that was great.
100%. You play in a tournament. You play in a couple of tournaments, I believe, with challengers, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe Orlando was, so 2003 I joined them.
Okay.
And I believe the first one was in Orlando or New York.
No, 2004, I think you joined them.
Right.
2005, I don't know what happens in 2005. I want to say New York. There was a tournament in New York in 2005.
So I know I played 2 tournaments in New York with challengers. We lost to Stars in both of those semifinals.
Yeah, so 2005, I think Sammy talks about this, that he kept losing to Stars, 2005, I believe, was New York, and you lost to Stars. 2007, though, you guys come into Orlando.
So that was one more,
and dominates that tournament.
Yeah.
We talk about it. I talk about it with Sam. You guys dominate, but somehow meet Jaffrey's in a semifinal, which
during my 3 tournaments with them, our runs always was, most of the time we see that one or unbeaten right to the semifinals.
Yeah.
End up winning the first game and then losing 2.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst feeling. And it's funny because I think 2007 is important in volleyball history, because I believe 2007 was when we saw the new generation, the new era at that time come through. And I'll explain. Durab had brought Toronto Union at that time, and he had his battle with United Stars, if everyone remembers. JJ Bojani started in Orlando A at that time. And Hassan Somji had joined Kaber at that time. After having a very successful tournament on Orlando B, he joined Kaber and became their Backcenter. I started playing. A lot of us started playing Hilal, Arif Ali. We all started playing at that time. And that is when we saw you, for the first time, playing front center with challengers, with Sammy. And there's a video out there, and me and Sammy are trying to find it. But I remember watching it multiple times because I was in awe of that semifinal in particular, because I remember how well you played. I remember how well Sammy played. You guys were hitting the heck out of the ball. And Jaffrey's are just returning. And it was like, holy, this team is unstoppable. I remember watching you guys even during the tournament. I'm like, this is who I want to be. These guys right here is who I want to be. What was that experience like for you? That tournament where did you think that was the tournament that you could have had with challengers, that you could have won?
Yeah. All the 3, honestly speaking, all the 3 of them. And I've had multiple talks with Marhum Mo. Yeah. And I at one point I told him that I don't believe that we can't win.
Yeah.
And to the point that once I mentioned to him that Uncle Mo, let me lead this team, and I guarantee you a championship.
Yeah.
Never happened.
What makes you then move on? Because I believe that's your last tournament, 2007, Orlando.
Yeah.
What makes you move to Allentown Union?
So that was the kind of conversation that started, and at that point, I had given up that, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, that's the definition of insanity, right? Yeah, that's the definition of insanity, right? That's what we all say, right? Like, you can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at that point, Khalil Khalfan, Hasnan's younger brother, takes charge of Union Allentown here. He becomes the captain, I believe.
Okay.
So Khalil comes to me. Me and Khalil, we have become very close friends. But at that time, he's younger than Hasnan. Hasnan is younger than me. So nothing.
Yeah.
So he becomes my neighbor.
Okay.
And after the fact, I found out he did all this to be close to me.
Wow.
Yep. He became my neighbor.
Wow,
And
volleyball,
when
man.
I
I'm telling
moved
you.
from that apartment into another apartment, he also moved to become my neighbor again.
No way.
Yeah. Yep. And he was after me and wanting me to join.
Okay.
And we were having a lot of barazas because we were neighbors now.
Yeah, of course.
I kept telling him, and I shared my Dar Islam stories of, as
Yeah.
a youth not being getting an opportunity and all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And I told Khalil, I said, Khalil, here, I'll tell you one thing. Let's make a deal. You show me that Union Sports Club is more than volleyball.
Yeah.
You are doing women's sports.
Exactly.
You are doing
Youth.
youth. You are bringing
Yeah.
in youths and all that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will join you in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he showed it to me. He never came back talking to me about joining them until he had everything in place.
Right.
And we still were friends. We were talking now, but we
Yeah.
never talked about how about join until he was ready.
Right.
And he invited me to Kutztown
Okay.
and to show me what he has.
Right.
And I was impressed. I mean,
Right.
walking track where kids are walking, playing,
Right.
women are walking around, old,
Right.
like grandparents are walking,
Right. Right.
guys are playing here,
Mm-hmm.
the middle court, kids are playing, and two courts later, the ladies are playing badminton.
Right. Right.
Everything's happening for a family.
Exactly.
I have a young family. I have Azra, who's young.
Yeah.
So that was great. So I'm like, okay, you know what, Khalil, I'll make an effort.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've already played for Challengers for these many years.
Exactly.
And now I know the history.
Right.
How do I
Get away? Yeah, that's the tough part.
right?
That's the hard part. Yeah.
So I end up, I resigned from Challengers.
Mm-hmm.
And all I said is for family or, for other
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
And just because I said that, I quit volleyball for about 3 months or 4 months.
Okay.
I mean, I had to stick to my words, right?
Yeah,
I can't
you
just say
did.
something and just go away.
Yeah.
So I stayed away,
Took a break. Yeah.
Right. And then I joined Union.
Okay.
2008, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I joined them, and
When that happens, whether it's 5 months later, a year later, you're still gonna get some heat.
yeah.
What
Some heat.
what was that like? Was it less than expected?
Yeah, it was because I don't share the past history, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I never messed up any relations with anyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And not that other people did, but I'm just saying,
I know what you mean. when you go back now to Allentown Union,
Yep.
does Bhanji look at you like, you're back, brother? Like, does he feel like, oh, was
actually he was happy and he kept telling me, how amaru time I would.
Yeah.
He kept telling me this. This was the first thing he tells me.
Yeah. Was Challengers doing much better than Union in those span that you were with Challengers?
Yeah.
So Union wasn't as competitive at that time.
Yeah.
They were still kind of rebuilding, figuring out their pieces and stuff like that.
Yeah. I would not say rebuilding because they were never broken.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like getting more pieces, trying to figure out their system.
Yeah.
And then when you join, we see a new system. A system that we had not seen in volleyball at that time. And everyone talks about being innovative, being different, strategizing, game plan. Some people feel like you just add talent and you'll figure it out. But sometimes when you don't have all that talent, you have no choice but to play with the guys you got, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that time is when we truly saw the V and a mid center. And it's funny because it's like the game comes full circle every couple of years. It kind of goes back to its roots because back in the day, in the 90s, if you watch the videos, you'll see a lot of mid centers. Yeah. You see Mehboob Gigi playing mid center. They played 5, right? Mehboob Gigi was right in the middle. It was like a diamond. And they just kept doing it. And then it stopped. Then the back center became a thing, right? Then you see Mehboob Gigi in the back center. You see Najaf in the back center. You see Sammy in the back center. You see all that era. And you guys, you come in and you create this new, go back to playing mid-center, which was rare, and you create this like V. How did that come about? Can you explain to me how that came about? And how did you guys, think outside the box at that time?
So the first thing that happened is, like I said, right, doing the same thing over and over, right? The one thing that I did over and over when I was playing front center over in Challengers, my role was to hit the net.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hit the net.
Yeah.
Hit the net. And I mean, I did that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Now I joined Union, and talking to Bhanji, talks about how he played the mid-center role.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bhanji played the mid-center role for quite some time.
Yeah.
And he, like, again, growing up watching Bhanji play with, at that time, Haidaris was called Mafia.
Yes. Yep.
Mafia and then Haidaris.
Yep.
So tremendous respect for him, right?
Yeah.
And every time we have a conversation, he kept telling me that I am not the main guy. We are equals.
Right.
This is a team sport. We all have to do our part.
Right.
And we talk about it, and he kept telling me to front center run, right? And I don't want you to hit the net, just hit the net. No, you
Open
take control of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And whenever, like, we are like in a long rally, or you think hit the net, let the ball come to me, and like play volleyball the way it's supposed to be
exactly
played. Not just hit the net.
Exactly, because then it becomes routine and everyone can get, nobody knows what's coming. Everyone knows what's coming, right? Everyone knows what's coming. Yeah.
Right. And again, because I got the liberty of, I was standing behind, the young guy, I would say probably in my prime now, had the best time of life.
when it's easy to think that they could have easily said, okay, Ahmed is back. We're going to put him in the front center. We're going to put Bhanji behind him, surround him with some defenders, and let's go see what happens. But the fact that you and Bhanji could have that conversation, and Bhanji could think outside the box, and you could think outside the box and be like, listen, the game, in order for us to succeed, we need to use all our capabilities. And for Ahmed to sit there in the front and hit the net is a waste. To be honest, I still think it's a waste today. I think that time for a front center to continuously hit the net, it's like you can do so much more sometimes, and you're not allowing that person to do much more. And hitting the net, you can actually train anybody to sit up there, and eventually in due time, they'll learn how to hit the ball in net.
Yeah.
But the special talent is what that they can do. They can take that ball and do something else with it. They can place it. They can hit it. They can hit the putty. They can hit the net. Like they can change it up on you. And if you've noticed that the game, it's funny because when I was young and I was growing up in New York Union, I was under the same impression. Front center, hit the net. Front center, hit the net. And I started to realize that something clicked in my mind. I'm like, when your team catches on to a third ball, everybody, eventually, if you take 50 third balls, you'll catch on, right? So by game 2, game 3, if you're in a quarterfinal, semifinal, third, you'll catch on to one person's third ball. Our strategy sometimes was, give the ball to the front center. Let him hit the net. It's a win for us. Because if that back center hits us, we already caught on. We already know what ball we're getting. It's not a surprise, right? And I think that's what you brought. You brought an element of surprise. You were a guy that revolutionized front center again. And think about it. If you really, truly think about it, Ahmed, Hilal, Amirli, they don't play a conventional front center. They play pick and pop and net and place and corner, and they play very much like you did. And they probably looked up to you. And I know Hilal tells me all the time, he looked at you, modeled his game, and watched you a lot because we all were mesmerized. I'll tell you one thing, whenever we'd come to Allentown and play you guys, the one thing we hated and the one thing we knew we had to do was bring knee pads because you were going to place us all night long. And it was the worst because we could never tell what you were doing. You were such a master at your craft. So credit to you because you changed you revolutionized that position because those guys were just guys that, man, hit the net, man, hit the net. Anybody can do that, right? They used your talents. And because of that, you guys saw success.
Yeah, absolutely.
You come to New York in 2010 and you reach the finals playing the V. Actually, but before that, you guys actually won a tournament. I believe so. I believe before New York, you guys won a tournament in Allentown that you had hosted.
Oh, the Kutztown one.
Yes. That you guys had hosted.
Yeah.
And you guys versed Toronto Union, Darab at the time, in the finals.
Yeah, he was hot.
He was hot. He was spiking from the Backcenter. I mean, he was a young gun, right? Trying to prove himself. And you guys won that tournament and carried that success into New York, I believe.
Wow, you remember that, huh? I don't think anyone else remembers that.
Yeah, it was a small tournament. It was like about 10, 12 teams. I mean, a couple of teams came. Kaber came. Hadri was there. We were there. You guys were there. Challengers, and then Darab. But yeah, I remember that tournament because it was one of the first few tournaments I played in. And I remember watching you guys in the finals, and I was like, who is this man, Ahmed Sumar? Like, he is just destroying this team. And then in 2010, when we held it in Queens College, is when we truly got to see you guys play in the finals against Jaffrey's. You guys played in the finals.
One before that?
I don't recall.
Okay.
Was there one?
I don't know. I mean, New York, 2007, 8, I moved to Union. Was that the first tournament?
2007, we had a tournament in New York. Did you play for Union? Right? Did you play for Union at that tournament?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think that's the one we...
Wow.
Is that the one we got to finals against Jeffries as well?
Could be. Yes. It is exactly. You're right. 2007, you guys get to the finals against Jaffries in New York. Yeah. And I want to say that tournament was in Sport Time.
Was it Sport Time or was it? What's a different Sports Time? I believe.
No, it was. If it was a different Sport Time, then it was Queens College, because that was the difference. And that was 2000 and either. That was 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So there was one before that, I believe.
Okay. And you guys got into the finals then too.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think that one was we played Arcades in quarterfinals.
Okay.
That was the first time I came to play in the back.
Oh wow.
The first time we played V, me and Bhanji.
Okay. And who was your front center?
I think Hasnian went front center.
Okay.
And Khalil on one side.
Mm-hmm.
Asim was the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. And me and Bhanji and Kazim Bal was back center.
And you met Jaffries in the finals.
Yeah. And then we beat Challengers in the semifinals.
Okay.
And then we lost to Jaffries in the finals.
Yeah, because 2010, I have it right here in 2010. It's similar road. You verse Jaffries. I mean, you verse Challengers in the semifinal. And the reason I remember that is because Orlando Union had played them in the quarters. Challengers took them to 3 games. That was the first time Orlando Union had come to a tournament in a long time. Took them to 3 games. You guys played them in the semis. Ended up playing Jaffries in the finals, but it was Queens College. And that was 2010. And that was another final that you guys were in.
Now that was the one that was the Sun.
The right? Sun, exactly. That was the Sun game. The Sun finals. We waited, I believe, for the Sun to go down or something, right?
Yeah, maybe we had to go pray namaz.
Yeah, exactly. The Sun game. That was it. That was Queens College. Then you guys reached the finals there too. So you guys, a lot of success. 1 trophy, a couple of finals. You beat the Rob. I mean, what's new, right? For Allentown, what's new for you guys? The Allentown curse continues with the Rob. And I'm just like, by the way, I got to put this out there because Sammy talks about the curse with the Rob in Allentown. And I know you've played a pivotal role with the curse. And we'll talk about that later a bit. I think it's a hometown curse because for those who don't know, the Rob was born in Allentown. So, you know what? Maybe he just got to join you guys at one point.
So let me add here. Now we'll talk about it later.
Okay, yeah, okay. After those few runs that you guys have, you're playing the V. You know, sucks because you get to the finals. Sometimes you don't win. Jaffries were Jaffries, right? They were just the best, and they were above all. And at that time, I think they were cream of the crop, and it was very difficult to beat them, even if you thought outside the box like you guys did. You would meet them multiple times, but it was tough. I believe 2012. in when Orlando wins that tournament, their first one. You guys also met them in the semis. You know, like it sucks. It seems like the road just ends there, right? With Jaffrey.
But that tournament we lost to them in semis.
Yeah.
But in order for us to qualify, we were in such a tight spot.
Yeah.
That we had to win the remainder because we lost to Orlando B. That's a curse to us. We always lost to them.
Oh, no way.
And then Karmali was the Backcenter at that time.
Yes, I remember.
So we lost to Orlando B.
So it was a little home cooking for him, right? Get back at Allentown Union a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Now we have to win, I think 2 or 3 games in a row, and that was Stars, Jaffrey's, and somebody else.
Yes.
In order for us to qualify.
Yes.
And guess what? We pulled it through.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And again, meet Jaffrey's in semis.
I think one of those games, if I'm not mistaken, or the quarterfinal, which I believe we qualified for, was against you guys. I want to say that. It was either one of those 3 games or that quarterfinal, because I believe you played Jaffrey's in the semis. Do you not? No, actually, you played Jaffrey's in the quarters.
And we were,
yes. The semis is Orlando versus Jaffrey's. The finals that not many people remember is Stars versus Orlando. Okay. So in actuality, you guys, yes, you're right. The last game of the night, I remember, the last game of the night was you guys had to play us. And if you beat us, you're in the quarters. And if you're in the quarters, you play Jaffrey's, which, I mean, it wasn't really like a good thing. You just wanted to qualify at that time. But playing Jaffrey's in the quarters, it sucks. And you end up playing Jaffrey's in the quarters.
But we had beaten them in the
round robin.
Yeah.
Yes, so, I remember. And so everyone thought, okay, this is the one team that has the chance to take him down, right? Not knowing that Orlando would do it the very next series. But I remember that game against, and I watched that quarterfinal a lot with you guys and them. Munna hits a ball, and a lot of us have seen this, and I'll send it to you. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but Munna hits a ball, okay, that starts where Bhanji is in the back left, so right at his body, okay, and Bhanji's ready to dig it. Bhanji's ready. He's read it already. He knows what's happening, and the ball just starts moving and moving and moving and moving, and somehow ends up in the middle, way back right, like unbelievable, where Bhanji couldn't even take it. It was one of the best balls I had ever seen in my life. I'll send you a clip. Maybe what I'll do is I'll probably put it in the podcast so some of you guys can look at it, because I think it's one of the coolest balls. I remember us growing up and watching that over and over again, because that series was amazing to watch. You guys always had very good games against Jaffrey's. Unfortunately, they had the upper hand. So 2012 happens, right? 2013, Bhanji, right before the New York tournament, I want to say it was a couple weeks before, we get word that he got hurt in practice. And we're like, okay, maybe it was a small injury, maybe it's not a big deal. And in actuality, it was a very bad injury. And I believe he fractured his ankle or his foot or something, and he was in a cast and he couldn't play. Explain to me that time, because you guys were coming in again, you're a very competitive team. You're at the top of your guys' game, obviously aspirations to win in New York, and then Bhanji gets hurt. What was that entire time like leading up to New York?
It was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, and right there, because when that happened, we all went to the hospital with him, and he kept telling me, Amu, I heard the crack. Tutti huge.
Oh my God. I'm
like, Bhanji Nabol.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it.
What do you do at that point? You just rile the troops and just go?
And Bhanji goes, just go. Like, Bhanji, how?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, no one. We have not had a backline without Bhanji.
Exactly.
Right, but then you know what? It's a team sport, right?
Yeah.
It's a team sport, and he kept telling us that, well, we have no choice but to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I had my right hand man Ali T with me.
Ali T.
I'll say one thing. He is one guy that has taken my brains.
Yeah, I can imagine. But he's good at that. That's his role, man. That's his, like, hey, anybody want to get upset right now? Just give it to me. I'm good. I'll take it. But he truly was your right hand. You're right.
So So we sit down, we talk. Mustafa is there, the senior of the team.
Mhm.
Hasnain is one guy that has always been behind me,
Yeah,
always.
100%.
He's been with Bhanji all. He's the one guy that never left Union.
Which is loyalty is so hard to come by, and
Yep.
he got it, man. He's got it 100%. A question just before you continue. Sorry.
No, no, it's right.
You leave to go to Union, and I know we're backtracking a little bit.
Okay.
Mustafa's still with Challengers when you leave?
Yeah. And he maybe in 2 months he joins Union too.
Wow. So they lost two huge pieces in 2 months. Wow, that sucks for Sammy, man.
And now that we've gone back, there's one person I forgot to mention.
Sure.
There was second netty with Mustafa.
Mhm.
Sadiq Sonasa, Sid.
Sid.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Beast.
Yep.
Beast.
Yep. So yeah. So
Um,
that was the team, man.
wow. Beast, man. You end up coming to the tournament, sit down with your team, and now Mustafa's there, you're there, and you're talking to your young guys because your team, if I can just tell you, the roster consists of Asim Lalani, I believe, Hasnain Khalfan, Mustafa Murtaza two, Ali T, Taha Karmali, Suhail Abdul Rasul, and Asad Lalani. I could be missing somebody, but that was your team.
So Suhail wasn't part of the team.
Suhail was, man.
Was not. Yeah. Well, initially was not.
Oh, okay.
That was Ali T. Ali T goes to
Found a
me.
way.
Ali T goes to me. Hala main Suhail ne baat kare.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Call Suhail. He goes, no, I'm done being the third line player of the team.
Yeah.
Suhail, I guarantee you a spot.
Yeah.
How about that?
So that's how Suhail is. You just gotta lamba him a little bit. Be like, hey, come on, man. Just come on.
No, I mean, he was upset. He was upset because
Yeah.
he never got an opportunity.
He told me. Yeah, he told me. I would always talk to him, and he would always tell me, like, I just never got a chance.
Yep. So this is where I say, all right, I guarantee you, man. Nothing to lose, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Just come, man. I'll take anybody. Let's go.
So yeah. So
and I remember Suhail being a decent player. I remember him because we used to play you guys all the time. He was a very decent, very good player.
So we go. We start. The initial plan was Murtaza Mustafa in the net. Asad was backup.
Okay.
But things weren't going right.
Did you start in the front center, mid center?
No. It was my first opportunity to be the back center.
So you took it. You start out right off the bat as back center.
Did I have a choice?
No, agreed. But I'm saying, like, you didn't think that, listen, this V is not going to work here. I need to come to the back.
Yeah. So one thing that I learned growing up is you can't just be one type of. You have to be a versatile player.
Oh, 100%.
So, like myself, I can play any position except for netty.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm sure if you worked at it, you could also be a netty. I know, like that's how athletic and gifted you were. Yeah.
So here, this is the chance, right?
Yeah.
And between Asim and Hasnain, we talk it out. Asim goes, okay, I'll go in the front. Hasnain gets his chance in the back.
Yeah.
And then, like, it wasn't working for us, so we bring Murtaza out.
Okay. Yes, he plays out at some point. He comes out at some point.
Yeah. And then we play a 4-man backline.
Yes, which was the craziest thing we saw at that time because, again, Allentown Union comes out of the woodworks and decides, hey, listen, you guys were very, and LET talks about this when I have conversations with LET, because me and LET have many conversations standing third line. And he goes, hey, dude, the one team that was always good, and Ahmed was one of the main guys to lead this charge, was Allentown Union. They thought outside the box so well. And you come in with a 4-man backline at that time, not done. And now, if you notice, it has almost become a thing. People will use it. People will use 4-man because they're like less gaps, right? Yeah. Okay, you run with the 4-man. Who gave this idea of the 4-man backline?
I just thought of it.
And then, did the team look at you like?
There's a gap, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I'll tell you, the first thing I told these young guys, that do not expect me to help you when the ball's coming to you. I'm not going to blanket anyone.
Yeah.
If you are part of this team and you made this team,
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting, and this is one thing about me. You can call it tough love, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But once you show me your level,
Yeah.
I will never expect anything lower,
Of course.
and
100%.
I will fight you for that.
Yeah, I agree. That's
So
how it should be.
I told them all,
Mm-hmm.
I know what your capabilities are, and this is it.
Mm-hmm.
If we lose today and you end up messing up 10 balls, then
Mm-hmm.
it's you. We lose
Yeah.
as a team, but it's you that made us
Yeah.
lose, and that's it. So
Agree.
everyone pick it up and let's go.
Yeah.
And then we realized that it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not moving that much.
Yeah.
Suhail is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's bring Ali T.
Right.
Wood is out.
Mhm.
Ali T
Mhm.
helping Suhail's left,
Yeah.
because that was the struggle.
Exactly.
Because Suhail was watching my left.
Exactly. Yeah. 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 You're right. Yeah. Just kind
So
of
it
just
worked. It
Yeah.
worked.
And when you do this, do they first look at you like, no, man, this is not gonna work?
Now,
Oh.
Ali T never questioned me.
Yeah. You guys, he talks about that tournament all the time. You guys,
And
I
it
don't-
was a lot of the force behind this was Ali T as well.
Mhm.
Because sometimes I just like blurb ideas, throw it out,
yeah.
and waiting for somebody to catch it.
Yeah.
Ali T was always like that, catching
Yeah.
on every idea,
Yeah.
and he would like think about it.
Yeah.
It might work.
Yeah. He's very smart and
Okay.
strategic that way. Yes, 100%. Right, 100%.
And it worked.
He talks about that tournament so much because I think for him, coming into a situation now with Allentown Union, playing with you guys for a while now, he's getting better and learning the ropes, and never again, these guys are all never got their chance. Now, out of necessity, they're getting their chance. We have no choice here. Put these guys in the fire and see what happens, right? You guys do this, and everyone, the moment Bhanji gets hurt, everyone kind of counts you out. And sometimes when that's the best, flying under the radar and not having a target on your back, and no expectations, right?
I'm good at it.
Yeah. It's you guys freaking played so well that you got to the semis.
Yeah.
In a star-studded New York tournaments. We all know New York tournaments are one of the hardest, 20 plus teams, and Allentown Union finds its way into the semis without Bhanji at the time. Bhanji was there cheering you guys on, standing there, but obviously with a bunch of young guys, and Ahmed Sumar in the center where he had never seen you before. Tell me what that experience was like. I know we all know you end up losing to Jaffrey's in the semis because Jaffrey's comes and kicks our ass the very next series in the finals, which was my first final. But I remember watching your semis and being in like awe of like what you guys were doing. Tell me about that time.
Yeah, we took a game from them.
Yes, you did. Went to 3 games.
Yeah, and the next game was almost love.
No way.
Yeah, almost love, and there's a story about that as well.
Okay.
And me and Munna kept coming to the net. I think there's videos of it. And Munna was challenging me that he's lovely, and I kept challenging him, you will not beat me love.
Yeah.
And here I am just like showing him that I'm not scared of you, but I was scared.
Yeah. Of course. We all do that, but we're all really scared inside. Yeah.
But then my plan of action became that the only way to get a point from them is play Kiza.
Oh yeah.
It's the toughest bet.
Yeah.
But most likely that's what's going to happen. If anyone is going to, because Munna announced, love Mama Ranuche.
Yeah.
And when Munna says that, it's coming.
Yeah.
And right there, to me, is the only one that can give me is Kiza.
Yeah.
And he gave us.
Yeah. And kids, you may not get it defensively, you may get it offensively, but you'll take it, right? Like
that's how. He was just coming after us.
Yeah.
And ended up giving us a point, and that's it. To me, that was the win. Although I lost like game 1, game 2, whatever. But you know what? Not in love.
Exactly. What was that time like? What were the kids like? What were they saying? Were they you must have been so excited after that tournament, even though you lost in semis. I mean, it must have been such a great and fun tournament for you guys.
It was a great experience. Everyone enjoyed. I mean, like I said, right? It's a team sport. Everyone has to play their role.
Yeah.
Everyone has to feel that they are being appreciated.
Yeah.
And it was there, right? It was there. I mean, there was nobody like, okay, I'm better than you. There was nothing.
Exactly. Sometimes those situations are the best because you have to rely on everyone's ability, right? And everyone plays a part and everyone plays a role. And at that time, that team is so not desperate, but they're in need of ability that they'll sacrifice anything. They'll sacrifice position. They'll sacrifice anything just for a W. And if anybody, the younger guys who have not seen that team, or if anybody has not been able to watch that team, there are videos of them on the Jaffrey's YouTube channel. Take a look at what Sumar and the young guys in Allentown did in 2013. Those guys didn't look like they could make the semis. I'm telling you, if you watch the video, you'll be like, no chance that these guys are in the semis. And they made it. And it just shows that sometimes you just got to put the guys in the right places, get the pieces to the puzzle, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
2013 happens. We move on to what could be, in my opinion, the 2013 is New York. 2014 comes Lake Helen, Orlando. And that is, I think, like I said, the time I think Ahmed Sumar truly, we all saw Sumar in New York. We thought, wow, this guy can actually play back center. But I think 2014 is like, we were like, the wow became, holy shit, this guy can play back center, right? It's different now because now we're seeing him with the decks, against him, the chips against him. Bhanji is not with him. He's playing for Jaffrey's at the time. But you still have your young guys with you, around you. And, similar team. I believe Suhail was not there that tournament. So you've had to kind of go back to a normal 3-3 formation.
Suhail wasn't there. Taha wasn't there. Abbas Kaku was the addition at that time.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And the legend of Ahmed Sumar grows because he ends up in the final, beating us in a third game, last point, semifinal, what like Ahmed usually does, break our hearts. And we lose to you guys in the semis, and you guys end up in the finals. Talk to me about that.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I would say talk to me about that tournament before you get to the finals. Just tell me what that was all about.
So, New York tournament, I told you, right? What I told the guys.
Yeah.
If you're able to make this team, that means you're going to play, right? Yeah. Now, why? My first experience as a back center. I'm still scared.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah.
This time, my speech is different to my guys. Murtaza is my front center.
Yeah.
And the only thing I tell Murtaza is, I'm right behind you. Anything you want to let go, I'm right here.
Right.
So I'm offering help here.
Yeah.
So that's it's just the encouragement, right?
Yeah.
And I must say, Hasnain and Asim
played lights out.
Yeah.
Lights out.
War. Yeah.
And we couldn't buy a point off of them. Yep. Especially Hasnain, man. Hasnain he would get me so upset. He would just like return. I was like pounding away in that semifinal.
Yep.
And he's a lefty too, so it's unorthodox. Like the way like he can take the gap so well, and it's like, man, they played out of this world.
So I was going to say this. To me, that's my best game of my life. That semifinal game.
Yeah.
Trust me. Oh my God, that was long game.
Long. Riaz Juraj was the ref too. I still remember until today. So long and so like back and forth. Like nobody took it. Nobody took advantage. Nobody took like multiple points in a row. And trust me, I witnessed it. I witnessed your best game, man. It was.
You know what helped us?
What's that?
Hasnain falling down.
Yes, I remember.
Guess what I said? Nichero. Stay down.
And then that's when they stopped the game, right?
Yeah. When I could breathe, right?
Yeah. It was even if you watch the video at the end, I believe there's a ball that I hit and somebody saves it off the net. And I don't know if it was Murtaza, if it was Ali T, somebody does something. And I'm just like, man, we just can't beat these guys, man. Like, but you know what? You deserved it. You ended up in the finals. And in the finals, you go up against Orlando. Now, let's talk about Orlando here for a second. Orlando had just won in 2012. They had just won in 2012, I believe. They had just won in 2014 Marhaba, right? Which we'll go back and talk about in a second. And they had just won, and so they had won 2012, they had won 2014. Now they're coming for the back-to-back at home, which is very difficult to beat Orlando, we all know. And you have to go up against them. What was that final like? Asim goes down. You have to play 5. I mean, again, everything against you. It's so hard to come out of that against a team like Orlando. But you come out of it with an MVP award. What was that entire thing like? And you know what? This is just, and before you talk about it, I want to mention this. We see teams like Minnesota today, right? They're very gradually semis and like this new team I'm talking about. They got to the finals in Edmonton. Now they got to the finals in Orlando. You know, you guys went through that. You guys did, you know, the semis in New York, and you have multiple semis before that. But this new team, the semis in New York, and you reach the finals in Orlando, just shows that teams build, confidence builds. The youth, if you give them a chance, sometimes it takes a couple of tournaments, but they all build, right? Like they will catch it at some point. And this was the fruit of your labor. That's this final. What was it like? Tell me about it.
So, nothing to lose, right? Playing against the champions.
Yeah.
And coming out of a long, great semifinal game against you guys, you know, like, you know what? Nothing to lose. You know, we've done our part.
Yeah.
Let's go play our hearts out. Now, and then the Asim incident happened.
Yeah.
So when that happens, there's one guy that steps up, Abbas Kaku.
Okay.
He plays front left. I'm sure there are videos of this.
Yeah, there is.
And I was playing back left and center.
In center, yeah.
That kid that was his first tournament, by the way.
Yeah, I remember you said he had come in at that time.
Yep, and he didn't let anything go over him.
Which is exactly what you needed. Yeah.
Right. Now, let me go backtrack a little bit to Abbas Kaku's earlier game. So here we are. Abbas Kaku, our team, we're playing, and Abbas Kaku is being picked.
Yeah.
And we're playing against Jeffries.
Okay.
And this is the round robin, and we end up losing the first game. Here we are talking, and Asim goes to me, how about for this game, we bring him the third line? And I'm like, Asim, third line?
Yeah.
This is just the first round.
Yeah.
We're going to kill this kid. Are you okay playing 5 for the rest of the tournament? Because we do this right now.
You'll demoralize him.
I'm fine. Yeah. But are we okay playing 5 for the rest of the tournament? So he goes, then what?
Yeah.
And let's bring him front center. And they all look at me like are you nuts?
Think outside the box, man.
Bring Abbas Kaku front center. And that's the only thing I told Murtaza. Yeah. Right behind you, buddy.
I got your back.
Anything that is over you, and you, even if you don't call, I got your back.
Yeah.
That was the game that Abbas Kaku picked up for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah. And that helped him.
That kid, I mean, that final, the first game, Asim went down. It
was tough. It was tough, yeah.
But the second game, we hung on.
You kept at it. You kept at it with 5.
Yeah.
The kid played amazing. Abbas Kaku played amazing. And that was it. He needed that game. He needed his hands to get set. He needed that confidence. And it helped, right? It pays off.
God, yeah.
It's the game within the game, right? Sometimes you need those round robin games to kind of just give that guy a boost. And sometimes it clicks for them, man. It clicks for them.
Yeah.
You win that. You lose that final, but you win the MVP award. A part of you almost proud of yourself in the fact that, listen, you know, we didn't get the championship, but I was able to almost prove it that I am a capable center. I am an elite center. I can play the back center role, and also prove it to not only people, but prove it to yourself, right? Because that must be a good feeling.
It was, but honestly speaking, right? I mean, and there are videos to prove that, right? it wasn't about me.
Of course.
It was a team.
Of course, yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm not a powerhouse like Turab, yourself, Ali Asgar.
Yeah.
I Kizar. I'm not.
Mm.
It's I have grown up playing a defensive kind of volleyball.
Yeah.
Right. Our games end up in 4-0, 3-0, 1-0
Exactly.
back home. Right.
Yeah.
So even until today, my chant in the middle of the game. I mean, I don't know if people hear that, but I keep saying D, 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 D.
Yeah.
I keep reminding my guys.
Defense wins, man. Defense wins championship.
To me, that's how it is. I mean, like they are powerhouses, man. Yourself, Turab, and I mean, you can change the whole game and win.
Yeah, but defense
we
wins.
don't have that in us.
Yeah.
So the only way we win is by trying to defend. That's it.
Yeah.
D, D, and D. And my team in that tournament really played amazing.
They just defended, man.
All the guys, Hasnain, Asim, Murtaza, Ali T, Asad, and Mustafa in the net, Abbas Kaku.
Yeah.
I mean, that was all teamwork, total teamwork.
They definitely defended their brains out. And I remember that tournament being a very, it was almost like you see guys like myself, Turab, and that age of volleyball Backcenters where everyone wanted to hit and pound. And then you see Ahmed Sumar, who was very much float and move the guy and put him here and hit the gaps. And, very strategic and mindful and understanding the game on a different level than us. And that just showed, right? That don't need to hit the ball hard. You just got to hit the ball smart, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we'll backtrack now a little. And the reason why I talk about 2015, I talk about Lake Helen before I talk about Marhaba, is because I wanted to connect what you did in 2013 to 2014, because those teams were very similar. Now, I'm going to cut back to 2014 Marhaba, which happened before Lake Helen. Lake Helen was on Labor Day. Marhaba happens, I believe, Easter. Allentown United happens. And Allentown United was I believe the coming together of Allentown Union and Challengers to go for glory at home, bring a united front, and try to win a tournament at home when both teams were starving for a championship, right? What was that entire time like, and what was the process behind that? And tell me about that experience.
Wow, that was my dream team.
Yeah, sure looked like it.
Although, I mean, after moving back to Union, a lot of effort was put in trying to combine. Yeah, I mean, I held so many meetings.
You're talking about when you went back to Union in 2007, 8.
Yeah.
So you're saying from that till 14, there were many efforts.
So the first thing that happened is we Challengers allowed us to join them once a month for practice.
Okay.
Against each other.
Okay.
That was never happening before.
Yeah.
So we started that. And then we're all have good relations going on. And then we meet in New York. And we beat them.
Yeah.
And everything falls apart.
Yeah.
Everything falls apart because the I would say accusations, basically. I would say that.
Yeah.
Well, they're coming here, they're learning our game.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, no, I mean, we both have the same equal opportunity.
Yeah, true.
If we are learning your game, then
you're learning ours too at the same time. Yeah, that's true.
But everything fell apart.
Yeah.
Then again, slowly, finally, again, here and there, once in a while, we get to play each other. The relations are building again. And then finally, we have a sit down and plan a tournament. And that happens, right? Marhaba.
Yes. You guys come together, and when you look at that team on paper, I mean, star-studded. Obi, Sammy from Challengers, Sumar, Bhanji from Union. I mean, Asim, this guy,
Arif.
that Arif. I mean, everyone you can imagine that you ever wanted. If what we saw when we were growing up from 2000 and I want to say 8-9 to 2014 in Marhaba, we always sat and watched you guys play and go, you know, Allentown, if they just combined, they would win. We all thought that. And in 2014, it happened. And in front of our eyes, we're seeing this star-studded team filled with superstars going for a win at home. Obviously, it didn't end up how you guys wanted. I'm sure, you know, it's tough to, and Sammy mentions it, you know, you're not playing together. It's hard to play as that team against everyone else. I mean, it doesn't, you know, make sense.
It happened too quick.
It happened too quick. Exactly.
Quick. Yeah. It was supposed not. It was not supposed to happen that quick.
Yeah. If you had enough time, things may have changed because chemistry would have built, positions would have been set. Yep. Because I remember you playing like front right that tournament or something, right? Like it was like, you know, like so much could have happened. But my question to you is this. Let's just say, in your perspective, and I asked Sammy about this, but I want to ask you as well. If there was only one team in Allentown, there was no Challengers in Union, do you think today, take away 2002, that last time Challengers have won, take away 2009 when you guys beat Thurab in that tournament in Kutztown, would there have been way more championships in Allentown today?
I would say yes.
Would have to be, right?
100%.
Do you think Allentown is not as a big of a city to have two teams?
That's the whole point, right?
Right.
We have so many players in this small town.
Exactly.
And then now we're dividing that.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to try.
Yeah, you never know, man. You never know. 2015 comes around and New York is there. And Bhanji's back. And I believe Challengers beats Stars in a round of 16, best of 3. Somehow, some way, Sammy and Arif in the back line. I remember Arif was playing back left, and you know, I remember it was one of Arif's best games. There's like a 6-7 minute clip of it on YouTube somewhere at the ending of the third game, and they somehow upset the Rob in the round of 16, which means you guys get to play them in the quarters, and you guys beat them in the quarters, end up matching up against Orlando in the semifinal. Orlando ends up winning that matchup, and Orlando versus Jaffrey's in the finals. And like Jaffrey's always do, they always win New York, and they won New York again. Did you feel that tournament with Bhanji back and some of the youth still there mixed up, that was a good chance to go for it?
So, yes, it was. Now, that was the one tournament where we actually, that was the year that we had handed the club to the youths.
Okay.
Yeah. So I joined Union in 2008. Mm-hmm. 2009, I became the captain. Mm-hmm. 2010, I became the chairman.
Yeah.
And until 2015, still the chairman.
Okay.
Then we hand over to the kids for 1 year.
For 1 year.
Yeah. So they didn't want to continue, but that was the 1 year that Abbas Kaku, I believe, was the captain.
Okay.
And it was his team, and that they are the ones who were. I don't remember who else was on this team. Myself, Bhanji, Asim,
Hasnain, Abbas Kaku. I want to say Taha Karmali.
I was he there? I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You guys end up, I mean, you guys did well, but it almost felt like that was the time where your 2013 semifinal, your 2014 Lake Helen final against Orlando. Now you're in 2015, you're back in New York, and Bhanji's back. That felt like, okay, now the pieces are back together. This could be the one. Mm-hmm. It ends up not panning out. You play Orlando again. We all talk about how Orlando is a juggernaut. You know, Jaffrey's, of course, are Jaffrey's. But when you talk about when Bhanji coming back, first tournament after Marhaba, I mean, what? Sorry, first tournament after Lake Helen. Did you guys play a V that tournament in 2015 New York?
No, I think I was the back center at that time.
And Bhanji played back left.
Back left, yeah.
Oh.
And then at some point, and that's where I think the boys were very upset at me because at some point I volunteered to go play in the front again.
So that changed. That's
Yeah, and the boys were very upset about it, and
yeah.
I've heard quite a bit about it.
Yeah, because I mean that was your time, right? Like you had just proven yourself to be an MVP. They probably didn't want that, right? They wanted to see what would have happened if you just stayed back there. 2016 Allentown Union does not attend the Minnesota Spring Tournament, but we do get to see you guys at the end of the year at Sunshine, Orlando. Sunshine Sports Festival. In that tournament, I have a story for myself where luck of the draw happens and I get to play Turab in the quarterfinals. And that court, if you remember, was not a hitting court for, guys who are smashing the ball. It was a very much floating type court.
One of the worst tournament for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hit so many serves out.
I hit so many balls out too, man. It was just, it was just one of those. And I had no clue that, I was like, look, and Turab is so dynamic in what he does that I thought he was going to find a way, floating the ball, and he could do those things I could not do at that time. And I was like, you know what? We're not going to win this quarterfinal. I'm going to be honest. I was like, we're mismatched. They're better than us. Like, this was a good run we made. Let's see what happens. And I believe we win the first game. They win the second game. And the third game comes, and it's me, Bode, Imran in the back line. And the front line is Jaxi, Shane, and I believe Yasser. Anyways, we're losing, and Jaxi had given a couple of points in the front at that time. And, that was not Jaxi's position. He was doing his best to try to play it. And we kind of put him there. We had no choice. And somebody in the corner here decides to tell us, hey, make a change. There's a little bird that came. They make a change, man. And I think Bode at that time was the captain, I believe. So Bode goes to this man, and this man says, you go in the front. So if this man was anybody else, Bode probably wouldn't have done it, but it was Ahmed Sumar giving him this advice. So Bode says, you know what? If Ahmed Sumar is telling me to go in the front, I'm going to do it. He goes to the front. Jaxi comes behind him, and we end up winning that quarterfinal. That third game with Abbas Rai calling a ball that hit the top or whatever. Funny story, I'll tell you. And it wasn't even about the change that you told us to make. After it was over, Turab goes to complain to Abbas Rai. And as naturally, when Turab is there and the stars are there, we started to walk there. And I remember you grabbing us and telling us, get the hell out. Run outside. Don't even argue, run outside, celebrate like you've won, and go sit in a corner that they cannot find you, because you don't even have to agree to ever come back in, because they're not going to put time back on the clock. So get out of here. And I remember we did that, and it was probably the greatest time I've had playing volleyball, because it was unbelievable. So thank you for your help. Thank you for the change.
Samar, you've put me in trouble, man. I'm gonna get a phone call from Turab.
I mean, man, if Turab can't hate you about this, Turab probably has a lot more things to not like you about. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in 2018. We'll get to that. What that tournament for you guys though? I believe you took Abbas Rai, and I believe you took Swaggy, right?
Yes.
What I mean, disappointing, I'm sure, right? Probably not your best effort.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it just didn't work for us. That one of the worst tournaments I've played.
It didn't click.
It didn't click at all. I mean, serves. I mean, I remember against Toronto Jaffrey's.
Mm-hmm.
I hit like 4 or 5 serves in a row out.
Mm-hmm.
I hit it out. We go in a rally. We get the serve. I hit it out again.
And you can't do that against Jaffrey's, man. It's like
and it's not that I was trying. I was just trying to hit the ball like simple serve.
Yeah.
It was just flying out.
Yeah.
That was one of the worst tournaments.
I'll tell you something. That tournament, you disappointed me the most, and I'll explain why. The very next morning, we have to go play a semifinal against Orlando. We're up 10-love in the first game. People think we're going to get wiped. We're up 10-love the first game. They make 15 changes. They start coming back. People start filing in because everyone's watching on the phone and they go, oh, whoa, 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 Orlando's about to lose. We got to go. When these guys are coming back on us, we call a timeout at like 9-10. They're coming. They've already made this comeback, right? It's about a minute and a half left. They end up winning the game 10-0. At that moment in that timeout, you know what I did? I looked in the corner. I said, is Ahmed Sumar here? Because I have no idea what to do right now. I was looking for all the help possible.
I thought I had called you guys.
Yeah, I think you called us after the first game. Yeah, you called us after the first game. You called us, I believe, right after the first game. And I was like, man, where's Ahmed when you need him? I needed him yesterday. Good luck charm, man. I needed you.
I love you guys, man. I mean, New York is my second home, man.
Yeah, for sure. When you 2016 happens, that tournament doesn't go as, I think you get a tough quarterfinal matchup against Orlando Union, who become the eventual champions. You lose to them in the quarterfinals. After that, 2017, I believe the 3 tournaments that Allentown Union does not attend, Faisal Bhanji Memorial, Al Wahda, and Al Wilaya. You guys didn't go to any of those. What's really happening during this time? 2017, there's 3 tournaments. You guys don't attend any of them. Is Allentown Union kind of like in a lull? Like you guys are still practicing, you're just not able to attend?
Yeah. Everyone's
one of those
priorities are different.
Yeah. School. I'm sure a lot of guys were going to school, coming out of school and stuff like that. Before we continue, I want to ask you one question before we get to 2018. When you leave Allentown Challengers and go to Allentown Union, in that span of 6 years until Marhaba, and then after that, all that time until now. Well, Challengers were not in existence until recently, but let's just say until 2014. Did you ever get poached again by anybody from Challengers to come back?
Not until recently.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Honestly, this is the time when I think Sammy took a break.
Yes, he did.
Right. Yeah. And there were hardly anybody left over there.
Yeah.
And we just kept supporting them and practicing together.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Yeah.
No talks of like closing anybody down or.
Yeah.
We just kept going.
Yeah.
Hoping that one day United will happen.
Yeah.
That was the whole goal. That no one team is closing, both are uniting to be united. That's my goal.
Yeah.
And I haven't given up.
Yeah. And it may get there. When you're practicing against Challengers before tournaments. So when you went to Union and before tournaments, would you guys practice against Challengers a lot? From 2008 to like 2013, would you guys practice a lot together?
Not a lot. Like I said, right? It took a while, and then we were like once a month invited to them. Mm-hmm. We go once a month. We play with them, and then the tournament in New York happened, and then we were stopped.
Okay.
So it's going back and forth.
In that time, no one is coming to you. Like, are they just so hurt that you left that they're like, I don't know, like.
Nope.
Wow.
No talks of come here.
Come back, man. Just come back.
No talks of coming back, and all I'm trying is let's become together.
Let's become one. Yeah, exactly. Okay, we'll move to 2018. The improbable kind of happens. Sort of happens, and I say improbable, not impossible, because improbable in a sense that you guys end up in a quarterfinal against United Stars in 2018, New York. Now, let me explain to you that round robin and what took place. In that round robin, Stars, I believe, places second in our pool. North places first. No, North places third. We placed first. Now, when we placed first, we had a game against North at the end of the night. And we had a choice to give North the bye. North would then be pushed to second, which would, guess what? Push the Rob to first. But instead, because the reason why we were considering giving a bye was because we didn't want to play Jaffrey's in the quarterfinals the very next morning. In New York, they had won 19 years in a row, and you want to play those guys in the quarters? Everyone was like, yo, you guys are out of your mind. Just give North the bye. It was the last game of the night. North comes to second. Stars goes to number 1. And we go to number 3. We end up playing Stanmore the next day or something, which would have changed your fate, and it would have changed our fate, because we end up playing the game as normal. We decided we won't want to give the bye. We end up beating North. We come first. We play our quarterfinal simultaneously while you're playing your quarterfinal. We're playing Jaffrey's, and you're playing, which we thought, wow, we're playing Jaffrey's in a quarterfinal. This is like, all hands on deck. You're playing Stars. You're probably thinking the same thing. And we both emerge victorious. And you now get another up on Durab in that quarterfinal. Explain to me that quarterfinal, because the videos say a lot. They are, it is an intense competitive matchup where you're calling him on. I believe you're playing back right, if I'm not mistaken.
That's my favorite position.
What was that time like? What was that game like? What was that series like?
So me and Turab we go a long way, we every time before tournament we talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the guy. I'm sure he loves me, and where we're on the court, we both are after each other.
Yeah.
He wants to beat me, and I want to beat him.
You can see it. Yeah, you can see it.
And so here we are. We meet, and our V formation has been working. And so I think we had to reveal that the V way before we wanted to.
Okay.
I think we lost to Orlando B, I believe. And after that we had to reveal it.
Yeah, go back to it.
And trust me, it takes a whole team to make such things work.
Oh, 100%. The V is very difficult.
I mean, we have tried that multiple times.
Yeah.
And the credit goes to Asim.
Yes.
The V is only possible if you have people like Asim, Maz.
Yes. Exactly.
Those guys that play that role.
That take that sacrifice and just are there to take the bullets. Yep.
Right. So Asim took up that role and let me and Bhanji move and play our game. And he was always there to pick on anything that we don't get on.
Yeah.
And trust me, he was hitting some nice third balls in that game.
Yeah, he was. He was.
So, and he was fresh.
Yeah.
Everything was like, okay, it's working. And we lose the first game. And I am pretty sure that Najaf cut the game short.
Oh.
Yeah. And he cut the game short because he thought it would be in our favor.
Right.
He blows the whistle and he points towards us that we won.
Yeah.
And I am sure that he did not finish the time.
Really?
And we were down. I think we were down over the serve. Turab got the serve. We were close.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
There's no way it's over. There's no way it's over. Yeah.
So it worked. It worked for us. And calling on Turab was just, it wasn't. I mean, if you look at it, it was after we have a lead now.
Yeah. That's the best time to do it. That's the smartest time to do it. I mean, we all got to be smart people here.
And the one person he's the only guy that I do against.
Yeah. I never see you do it.
Because I love the guy so much.
Yeah.
And I want him to be mentally strong, which now he is.
Yeah.
Now he is.
Yeah.
At that time in that tournament, he was still not there. He was getting there.
Yeah.
So there was still a chance for me to get to his head.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah. And it worked. And you get into the semis. Now, you walk out of that quarterfinal thinking, "Oof, we got out of a war." We get out of our quarterfinal thinking, "Oof, we got out of a war." And they come to us and tell us, "Well, congratulations. You get to play Allentown Union in the semifinals." And I sit there and go, a part of me actually wanted to play Stars. I did not want to see you guys because you guys have always had our number. You guys have always given us the toughest matchups. You guys know us inside out. And I'm just like, dude, I do not want to play these guys. Like, this is
outside the box.
Yeah, we did. And on the flip side, on the other side, Lambada and North is playing against Orlando, which, to be honest, in my mind, we had just played North the night before, and we pretty much, we beat them pretty handily. So I was like, that's going to be easy cake. Well, I know that North beat Stanmore to get there, but I was like, okay, that's going to be a cakewalk. And I believe Orlando beat Minnesota. Orlando versus North doesn't even finish by the time we're done with our games. And I think almost for me, I was in shock that we were able to come out of that win in that semifinals. But I mean, obviously at that time, like for us, almost it was like we wanted to prove that point finally. Like, okay, it's our home court now. How many times have they beaten us? Let's just try to go there and win this one.
Trust me, I didn't think that you were going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, it was.
We thought outside the box.
Yeah, we were like,
there was nothing. We could not think of anything, and you spared us a love game.
Yeah. We'll not talk about that. But yeah, that was a very big moment for us. I think it was like, wow, we finally did it. We beat Allentown Union in a game that mattered because they always had us. And I remember coming out of that, and we're outside, and Hussein Kalfan comes to me and goes, "Did you think you had it when you saw the matchup?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Yeah, because we always give you the hardest time, right?" I was like, "Yeah, you give us the hardest time." I hated that matchup, but thankfully we came out of that with a win. On the flip side, we all know what happens. North wins. North beats us in 5 seconds in the finals, and Lambada happens, right? Everyone gets Lambada, and we move on. When you guys beat Stars in that quarterfinals, right, in 2018, and you're getting us, I gave you my perspective. My perspective was, shit, man, I don't want to play these guys. Right. Your perspective must have been confidence.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
We're gonna go.
At least mine. I knew that this is our chance.
Yeah.
Because trust me, I had not watched any of the North games.
Yeah.
Did we play North in that tournament? I don't think we played North in that tournament.
Yeah, you were in the other pool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we never played them.
Yeah.
I had not watched any of their games. I don't know. I never heard of Lambada in my life.
Yeah.
So to me, it was, that's it, man. This is our chance.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You thought outside the box.
When you guys lose that, demoralizing?
Absolutely. I was about to cry.
Yeah. Come on.
I'm telling you. Because oh my God. Man, it was amazing. The way you guys did that. I mean, I never, ever, listen, honestly, right? The way that happened is I could never even think that somebody would come up with that.
Yeah.
Man is the Backcenter.
Yeah.
And Z is getting the third balls.
Yeah. We had to do something. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So it was something that to me it was heartbreaking. That
we had to catch you by surprise. We had to do something that was different, right?
Yeah.
You play us all the time. You know my ball. Like it's like we needed something different. And then you see that makes and that makes me my ball more effective because now you're worried about Z, and then you have me, and then you're like you get me, and you're like, oh shit, Z's there. Like holy shit, like you gotta think about so many different things at that time, right?
Yeah.
Which is what you guys were so good at. 2019, Allentown shows up in Minnesota. You're not there, I believe. They give it a good run. I think they get to the quarters.
I want to be there.
Sorry?
I was going to be there. Broke my foot.
You broke your foot
2 weeks before the tournament.
Yeah. And I remember that because I spoke to you about it right before. That was unfortunate, but I mean, that tournament was also it was a Jaffrey's massacre of everyone. They just handed everyone. They destroyed everybody in their sight. And Jaffrey's ended up winning that tournament very handily. I believe that Stanmore gave him a very tough time. They took him to 3 games, but that was it really. Jaffrey's had that in the bag. But the pandemic hits, okay? And that's the last we kind of hear about Allentown Union for a while. Yeah. What was the pandemic like for you guys? Were you guys playing? I heard, there wasn't much practice. I know I spoke to you a few times, but I was speaking to Ta. I spoke to a couple people, about there was no practice. But did you think it couldn't have come at the worst time because you guys had just come off good victories. You had some juice in your legs, and the pandemic took a couple of years out of everyone's career. And we all know 2-3 years maybe when you're young doesn't mean a lot, but 2-3 years when you're older, it feels like an eternity, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Did you think Allentown Union was going to come out of this pandemic with a refreshed mindset, a refreshed team, or did you think, man, this could really kill the vibes that we were having in Allentown?
So after the defeat in New York,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in my head, in my mind, honestly speaking, and I
Yeah.
talked to multiple people here in downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can do that. We have Mehdi Hassan Ali here,
Yeah, yeah. I remember that conversation. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But then the pandemic hits, and
Yeah.
things changes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and slowly we get back, and that's it, right? And then Orlando.
You guys start practicing, you guys start getting back into it.
Yeah, and it was a fight because when we first started practicing, it was I was forcing everyone to bring their vaccination cards.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not vaccinated, you're not coming in.
Same. We were doing the same thing. Yeah, we're doing the same thing.
And
I mean,
people,
crazy to think that pandemic was like 3 years ago, man. It's nuts. But yeah, I remember all the protocol we'd go through, the mask wearing and this and that. But it's slowly but surely, you guys got practice back going, and everyone came together. And then the next time we see you and we hear of you, and we heard that there could be a team coming from Allentown, was December. This past December in Orlando, Allentown United returns, and this time a little more of a veteran team with yourself, Sammy, Hussein Kalfan. Your son, though, was a very big factor in your guys' success. Khalil Kalfan makes a return from Toronto, back to his roots. So a tournament that and then there was a youth team as well with Dar Karmali and them, and they had their own situation going on. And so you guys come into this tournament. What was your real goal? What was it? Was it, hey, let's just see if we can still hang, or was it, let's go try to win a championship?
So, well, initially, what started here in Allentown, for me at least, was never about going with a veteran team.
Okay.
Making a combination.
Of course, which is the right thing to do.
That's what I was at least advocating.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, what happens is some of us have still juice in us, right?
Yeah,
so
of course.
There are not as many positions.
Yeah.
So it's pick and choose. And that now, when you do that, some are left out, right?
Yeah.
And suddenly we hear that the boys want to play by themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, and we are left with all the oldies.
Yeah.
And short.
Yeah.
In short, we can't even make a full team.
Yeah.
And we call on Khalil and my brother, who was in Orlando at that time.
Yes.
And I forced my son, and he didn't even utter a word.
Yeah.
To stick with us.
Of course. Must have sucked, right? All his friends are there, all the youth are there.
Yeah.
He hung around. Yeah.
He stayed, and Ahmed Jaffer.
Yes, and Ahmed Jaffer, yes.
Yeah. The two boys stayed with us, and I feel bad for them that they didn't have a great experience.
Yeah.
We didn't do well. We had injuries.
But I think they learned from it. I think playing around you guys, they must have learned so much.
Yes, I can only imagine that. Yes.
Yeah. And Azhar Sumar, I think also there was a level of Azhar being noticed because of the fact that he was playing around veterans and had to cover more ground and maybe had to, help out more than any other, than maybe being noticed in that youth team, right? And so, sometimes, hey, the opportunity is where it is, and sometimes it works in your favor and sometimes it doesn't. When you bring this team of veterans and you're coming to this tournament, you start off with a bang. You beat New York Union. What's new? You beat United Stars. I mean, you had some good games right off the bat. Everyone's like, holy shit, these guys are back. Haven't lost a beat. A couple of years, maybe saved them a couple of years, right? Because you're no more miles on your legs. And then it starts to go a little south, right? And slowly as the days get going, right? Older players, it's tougher to continuously. And everyone who saw you guys that tournament, I think all of the sentiment around all the teams was, man, only if they took these veterans and they took those youth and combined, and they could have covered all the gaps that the veterans maybe leave, and the veterans could have teach the youth how to execute game plan and strategy, and it would have worked wonders. I think we've seen Allentown Union with youth. We've seen, meaning you, Bhanji, Sumar, right? You did it a couple of times. I mean, sorry, you, Sumar, and you, Bhanji, and Asim, and those guys, and Hasnain. On the flip side, we see Challengers doing it now. We never saw Allentown United do that. It's a completely different thing, right? When Allentown United takes a bunch of youth, takes a bunch of veterans, and then makes one team. Because that, I think, is the epitome of what the best talent in Allentown could be.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we'll see that.
Yes, hopefully. Now, like I said, right? There's only, look, some of us vets still have juice in us, and we don't want to give up, right?
Yeah.
And that takes away some spots from this.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully things are going to get better.
Yeah, hey, it's, I think tournament by tournament, you know, we'll see more things, and inshallah everything will go as planned. But when you go and play in this play-in game against the Orlando C team, obviously on your last legs, right? You guys are hobbled, you guys are injured. Sajjad, your brother, finally makes an appearance. You call on him. I remember you called me before the tournament. You're like, I want to ask you a question, man. I was like, yeah. So you think my brother still can play? And I was like, dude, he can still play, man. And you're like, all right, sounds good. And then, you know, you call on him in that play-in game. He tries his best. You guys try your best. The Orlando C team works. You know, they pull it off. Eventually lose to North. They played amazing. After that showing, was there contemplation on your guys' end, like maybe it's time to retire, or maybe, you know, we're just not, you know, maybe the game was not there, or maybe, you know what, we were injured, or we needed some more time, or we weren't well prepared, or did it rejuvenate you? Like, oh, you know what, I'm going to come back stronger.
So I'll talk about me.
Yeah, you can only talk about yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after that game is when I find out that Bhanji was injured.
Yeah.
Start of the tournament.
He
came in with a bad knee.
Yeah.
And a broken finger.
Yeah.
And Sammy tells me about his injuries in the middle of the tournament.
Yeah.
And what am I supposed to say to the seniors?
Yeah.
At this point, after it's all done.
Yeah.
And I understand. I understand it was the competitor in them. They didn't want to abandon the team.
Exactly.
You know, they wanted to stay with the team.
Yeah.
And try to give their best out there.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, it's all like it's all talks now, right? I mean, we didn't even have enough players to do anything. If
any changes, nothing. Yeah.
I mean, you know, so there's not much that we could have done. But coming out of the tournament, well, I was more adamant that, you know what, we're going to build around this.
Yeah.
And this is lesson learned. And I was pretty sure that the boys have also learned a lesson.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can go back, talk, and do something big.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's total opposite happened.
Yeah. Challengers is back, Union is back, and United is no more. Talk to me about this Allentown Union team. What makes this Allentown Union team different, revamped? And what are your guys' aspirations this tournament? Is it a rebuild, or is it all hands on deck? You have no time for a rebuild.
You only build something that's broken, Salman.
And it wasn't broken, right?
Broken. Never broken, right?
Right, that's true.
So it's all hands on deck. We have revived a couple of our guys that had not been playing, just to make enough for us to practice.
Yeah.
Right. We have brought in Taha as our captain. We are all railing around him.
Yeah.
New blood, him, Abbas Kaku, Azhar, Ali Jawad Ballu.
Yeah.
Alijad Balu. We talked to him, what, 6 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
I have a netty. Right now,
Yeah.
the netty that we have is that were before Alijad came was Hasnain's son,
Mm-hmm.
who's 14,
Mm-hmm.
and my younger son, Aman, who is 13.
Right.
And I thought that they're not ready for the tournament.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So thinking outside the box, right? Again.
Yeah.
And Taha says that, how about I talked to Ali Jawad. Taha and Ali Jawad have a talk.
Yeah.
And they say they're going to work hard and, come in. So we have Ali Jawad right now in the net.
Mm-hmm.
That's doing his best that he can.
Yeah.
In what, maybe 5 months or less than 6 months.
Yeah.
He has been in the net. And trust me, this kid is so athletic.
Yeah.
And he's giving his best out there right now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then the rest of us, myself, Bhanji, Hasnain,
Mm-hmm.
Sadiq, one of the guys that we've brought back,
Mm-hmm.
who's from, he's from London, UK,
Mm-hmm.
really passionate about the game,
Right.
very great soccer player,
Right. Right. Right.
but, so that's what we're doing right now, right?
Okay. Okay.
We have a bunch of youth and some of us and giving it all.
Yeah. That's all you can do. That's all you
Yeah,
can really do.
On the other side, challengers have a lot of talent, young guys. Sammy's son,
Yeah.
Adi,
Yeah.
Zidane, Mo's son,
Yeah.
Arif's son in the net, Kumel.
Yeah. Kumel's. I've heard so many good things about him. Yeah.
Ahmed Jaffer is playing inside now
Mm-hmm.
for challengers. He's come out of the net.
Mm-hmm.
Adil Ali.
Yes. Yes.
They have Mehdi Hasnali, Sammy. So they have a lot of raw talent over there that's coming up.
Yeah.
That everyone will get to witness.
Yeah.
And inshallah, one day, United will happen again.
Yeah. Hey, inshallah. Inshallah. With all this time, like I said, man, I don't think Allentown's a big enough city for two teams.
Yep.
Just my take.
Right. So yeah. So for us, Union, this tournament is all hands on deck.
If Orlando Union, who has 70 players, can have one team, I'm sure everyone else can figure it out. Obviously, very excited to see you guys back on the court. Very excited to see the blend of youth and veterans. And I don't know where you're gonna be this tournament. I don't know where you're gonna play. I'm not gonna ask you to tell me where.
Surprise.
But I'm sorry.
It's a surprise.
But I want to talk about what I introduced you at in the beginning I called you the hybrid. And I called you that because I talk about the multiple positions that you've had to play. And very much like my previous interview with Freddie, he has learned to diversify his game and be good in multiple positions, which is what made you special, which is what made you elite, which is what made you an MVP, which is what made you renowned and people, infamous, and people would just look up to you and talk about you, and because you were the man that could play all the positions at a very high elite level. Did you think that was a detriment to your career, or do you think that it helped you? Because if you had maybe started in the center earlier, maybe things might have been different, right? I think maybe you were found a little too late in your career.
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Like I said earlier, right? This is a team sport, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it takes everyone's effort, and it's wherever. I've always been like that, right? I will play wherever the team needs me.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, the perfect example of that would be Marhaba. Going into Marhaba,
yeah,
I played back right until the last practice before the tournament. Obi was in the B team.
Yeah.
And then we decided to bring Obi up. And team needed me to be in the front right.
And you did it.
I moved it. So
it's all about being a team player. At the end of the day, you got to make the sacrifices. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, for me, it has always been about the team.
Yeah.
Right. And I never believed myself to be a powerhouse.
Yeah.
So from wherever I am, whatever position I play, I will try and do my part.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Yeah, just
Yes,
play the
yes,
best I
yes.
can. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a take on that, but I'll talk about that later. Um, our relationship spans a long time, from the first time I started playing, and to be honest, I remember coming to your guys' practices as a front left. And at some point, I became a front center, and at some point, I became a backline player. And we would see, I would be able to watch you and Bhanji up close, and it taught me so much, and I learned so much from you guys just watching you guys beat our asses week in week out. But at some point, that that is when you watch people like that is when you learn the game. That's what, like, I was lucky to do that, because to be honest, I think in New York, like, we never got to watch guys like you. You guys were special. You guys were like different. You guys were like, like I said, you were a front center and I was playing front left. I was shit scared about you placing the ball on me, that, like, I was so, like, in awe of what you guys were doing. Until today, Bhanji, one thing that he was very well known for at the time, still is, but his down the line ball from the back left was something that I always admired. I was always like, because I remember when I moved from front left, I moved to front right first, and I had to take those balls. And I was like, man, this guy's pinpoint accuracy down the line. And today I try to implement that in my game. And the memory that comes back in my mind is, do it like how Bhanji did it. I mean, he hit the ball so precise that it was on the line, and it was always up, one of the toughest balls to take.
Right.
Eventually, that led to me being a back center. I think Mikey ends up joining you guys at some point, and that becomes fun, and a very, very, very fruitful, very great relationship we've always had. We've always accommodated each other, and before tournaments, you've always been there. We talk about the change that you help us make, and I think as time went on, I credit you guys for a lot of the success we've had, because you guys made us better. And I say that all the time. But at the same time, yeah, at the same time, that fire in us, to beat you guys is what made us better, because we wanted to one up you guys eventually at some point.
Absolutely.
But that also created mutual respect, and that mutual respect became friendship. I think along the way, I noticed one thing, and I liken myself to you a lot, because I think you play with the hands that you're dealt with. You don't try to do something that you're incapable of. You don't try to rally around superstars and bring them onto your team and try to win, and whatever it is. You just do with what you got.
Yeah.
I've been very much like that my whole career. Whatever I'm gonna go with.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna figure it out. And you got to think outside the box, and you got to do all that. And I learned that a lot from you, because I felt like you were very loyal to your guys no matter what happened. And sometimes, and that's why I asked you the question before this, that sometimes that loyalty, and I feel like in my case too, it may be detrimental to one's career, because you had to sacrifice yourself for the betterment of the team. In my honest opinion, if Ahmed Sumar was revealed to all of us, or the revelation of Ahmed Sumar as a back center came a little bit earlier, maybe Allentown Union would have had a couple more championships today.
That ain't so much.
Maybe. But I just want you to know that we've always looked up to you. I always used to tell Shane, man, just like Ahmed, just like Sumar, play like Sumar. Play like Sumar. Like, just please, man. Like, don't even hit the net. Ask Shani. I never tell Shani to hit the net. Never.
He's become better than Sumar, man.
I never tell Shani to hit the net. It's 8 years I play with Shani. 10 years. I never told him to hit the net. I always told him, do you. And you know what? He did him, and he covered the shit out of me doing it. And it helped my career, and I'm sure it helped his career, because he's one of the best in the game. But man, like, you meant that much to us. You were that guy. And rivalry is rivalry. It's love and hate. It's fun and it's cool. And it's competitive nature, but that respect never died.
And that's how I am. That's how I am when I'm on the court. I might be intimidating. I might not be supportive of you. I'm there to win.
Yeah.
You hit a good ball to me. I'm not going to tell you hit a good ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry. I'll tell you after the game.
After the game, you'll tell us. Yeah, 100%.
And then also if I've beaten you.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying
Oh, yeah, 100%. I felt all that. But that made us better, man. That tough love, man. That made us better. But I credit you a lot for my career and me growing into the player I was. If it wasn't for you, I would not have been, because you were the only guys we got to face on a regular basis that were
your hard work, man.
That was superstars.
You were striving for that. It's hard work that shows, right?
Yeah. No. You're right. You're 100% right. The future of Ahmed Sumar. Talk to me about what the future of Ahmed Sumar looks like, Allentown Union looks like, and tell me about Azhar. Is your goal to play with Azhar as much as possible before your career is over?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll start with that.
Yeah.
I see myself in him.
Yeah. I could see it too. I could see it too.
And all this that I am today, it's the true competitor that my father was, Marhum.
Yeah.
And whatever you said, right? My father never went for fame or never, like my father was a great cricketer.
Yeah.
But he never played for Union Sports Club because there were the superstars in there.
Yeah.
He always played for the weaker team and showed Union Sports Club what he was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I get it from him, and I see Azhar. Azhar, alhamdulillah, I thank Allah, has been a sportsman like me. I mean, he like my dad. I mean, he whatever he puts his hands into, he becomes good at it.
Yeah. Athletic.
Yeah, he's very athletic, alhamdulillah, and I hope Allah gives me the strength to keep playing. And now I have Aman. Aman is a total different guy.
Yeah.
Aman did never want to play.
Yeah.
He loses interest right away.
Yeah.
He plays for a while. You know what? Nah, I don't go. It's a different generation, right? Now, finally, I'm able to light that fire in him. Now, every Friday, Aman is ready to come to practice.
Right.
So, well, inshallah, one day I'll be playing with both my sons.
Inshallah, man, that's the plan.
Maybe I'll play front center for Azhar.
Yeah, hey, you never know.
And Aman in the net,
You never know. Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel? Do you see?
Absolutely. And I hope that we're able to pull this united back.
Yeah.
And trust me, if we all sit down together and pull this kind of a thing, Allentown is going to be in the map for the longest time.
I agree. I 100%.
We have a lot of raw talent here.
A lot of talent. Okay, we're done. We're done with that portion. You can take a break now, chill out a little bit. But we're going to go into rapid fire. Rapid fire, I got a couple of guys here. Just quickly, one sentence, one small word even, just something quick. Just tell me about them. I'll start off very easily. Sajjad Sumar.
Mentor, my role model. I wanted to do everything that he did.
I like it. Sajjad, you're my role model too. Najaf.
Oh my God. Legend. He is, I don't know if you remember when Najaf stopped playing in New York. I actually had come to some of you guys and I was very upset about it.
I remember, yeah. I remember.
That's one guy that, oh my God, I don't know. We can ever bring a player like him.
Kausar.
Another legend. I've heard a lot of Kausar stories as a Backcenter.
Yeah.
During my time with them, having Kausar standing next to me, was a great feeling, man.
Yeah, they don't make him like that anymore. Kausar, Najaf, right? That intimidating, that look, they don't make it. Mustafa Jaffer.
Wow, Mustafa. My best netty.
Yeah.
My best netty. The best netty that I have played with. Mustafa Jaffer.
I don't think Mustafa Jaffer gets enough credit for being such a good netty for so long. Go ahead, continue.
I'll share something here, okay?
Yeah, please.
When I joined Challengers, there was Sadiq and Mustafa.
Yeah.
Two top netties.
Yeah.
Every time I play with Mustafa, my game is different than I play with Sadiq. Because Mustafa because my balls, if I don't know if you remember, was putties.
Putty.
Okay.
I'll never forget, bro.
Mustafa was one guy that never let any of those putties drop.
Yeah.
And if I don't have Mustafa, my game drops.
Yeah. Yep.
So
True.
yeah, best netty I ever played.
Mustafa was one of the best netties in the game for a very long period of time. His longevity is what made him special, and also the fact that he was one of the first ones. People talk about Wheezy a lot. People talk about those guys who were lifting to the V. Mustafa was one of the first ones to lift to a V. Very difficult to do. Everyone remembers his style on the floor. Ball is almost at the ground, and the guy's lifting it, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of credit to Mustafa. Next guy, Asim Lalani.
Wall.
Yeah.
Wall. Always stood by me. Always stood by me.
Always a wall.
Yeah. I mean, Allentown, we are loaded with role players, you know.
Yeah. Loaded. So in New York, I would hope and pray, like, man, just give us a couple. Hussein Khalfan.
I knew that was coming. That's my right-hand man.
Yeah.
That guy,
he's been there through everything.
And that is one guy that will play any position you give him.
Any.
He will play any position.
With a smile on his face and with a grain of salt, he'll go do it.
Yep, he'll do the job.
A lot of,
and do it right.
Hussein Khalfan does not get enough credit for being a wall, being there for so long. And tournament to tournament, man, the guy's there busting his butt.
Yeah.
Anything the team needs. Anything.
So I told a lot of people about this, the MVP that I won in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I said it openly.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the semifinals game against New York, Hasnain deserves to be the MVP.
Yeah.
If not for Hasnain, we would have not won that game.
He played lights out. Next on the list, Muna Gigi.
Oh my God. Now, Muna Gigi one has a story, you know that, right? About this.
Yeah, give it to me.
The song.
Oh, of course. Sammy mentions the song. Yeah.
Yeah, the song. And nobody knows the real story. I never meant to sing to him.
Okay.
The song is Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna.
Yes.
That is at that time, right? I used to, every morning when I'm coming to the ground, I listen to that song to give me that.
Really?
Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna.
That's your jam to get you going.
Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna, you know?
Yeah.
So it so happened, I'm here driving to the ground, listening to my song.
Right.
And Mustafa calls me.
Okay.
And he hears in the background.
Oh.
And he tells Muna, Jo amusu kechi. So it started from there. But
sense.
I mean, we have had, I'm not that close to him, but we have had our conversations.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Always good.
To challenge the master of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Durab Karmali.
Oh my God, superstar.
Yeah, I know we talked about him already.
I am telling you, watch out.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah, it's gonna be scary. This time it's gonna be fun. This time it's gonna be fun.
And I'm saying because like I said, right, in the New York tournament where it's recorded, right, I'm calling out to him and I said, I want his mental game.
Yeah.
I want him to be strong. I mean, I love the guy, Salman.
Yeah.
I love the guy.
Yeah. And
in Orlando, I saw a different Turab.
Yeah.
And I think now he is ready.
Yeah. I sure hope so.
I'm telling you, man.
It's gonna be a good time.
He's coming with a bang. He's got the game, and now he's got the mental strength.
True. He's got the talent too. We'll go from one Karmali to another. Taha Karmali, the new captain of Allentown Union.
Superstar in the making.
Yeah.
Yep. He same thing, right? He is himself now. He's reading the game.
Yeah.
He's he has the game.
Yeah.
He's
starting to understand it
now.
Yeah.
Right. He's at a different level now. He reads the game.
Yeah.
And inshallah,
very wise decision making a Karmali your captain usually ends up turning out good. Tell me about your favorite moment. If you can tell me about one moment, one game, just one time, your favorite, whether it was 2014 Lake Helen, whether it was playing with Najaf back in the day, one moment that is your favorite time in your career.
Wow. Wow, they're a bunch, but I think the best moment is that final game against you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, trust me.
Wow.
I mean that took a lot out of us,
Yeah, thank you, man. That feels
especially
good.
especially I mean we we had to work
Yeah,
to
yeah. It was a
that was the best defense we have ever played.
it was a war. It was a war.
Yeah,
Worst loss you've taken.
against you guys
Yeah.
in the that semifinal game.
Semifinal. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I say worst because we never got a chance to get in the game.
Yeah, there was no chance. There was no
That
chance.
was bad feeling. I told you I was about to cry, man.
Yeah. The best front centers you like in today's game, you like watching them, best front centers you think, give me three names that you like watching, you like, no, because I liken you to, again, I talk about how you revolutionized the game. Talk to me about three front centers that you love watching today.
Okay. Amir Ali,
Yes, 100%.
Shane,
Mm-hmm.
um, saving one for last. So I think I've Shane, Amir Ali. Uh, Shane. Well, my favorite
Mm-hmm.
is Hilal.
Yeah, I figured.
That's the guy that has, and he's been there for the longest time.
Yes,
Longest,
longevity,
right?
longevity.
And Shane has been there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Irfan never gets the credit,
Yes, agreed.
and
Agreed.
he's taken his game to another level.
Yes, agreed. 100%. He's taking it another notch.
Yeah,
They're getting to that point where now they've matured in their game. Shane, Irfan, Amir Ali's now right behind Hilal, but I think Hilal, you're right. He's already at that point.
yeah,
He's where
right.
you were in 2000 and 12, 11,
Yeah.
10. Like he's that front now. He's there now.
I'm
But
just
you're
trying to think: am I missing anyone?
no, I don't think so. I think that you named the four guys that usually everyone mentions, and Hilal is in my opinion, I talked about last tournament. He's taken over. Every time you see one tournament, this guy will take over. This guy will take over. I think Hilal's taken over again, and the fact that he's taken over at 32 or 33, and he's been playing this game since he was in an elite level. I want to say till 20. I mean, 12 years, man. It's a long time. You're right. Longevity is amazing. I left the best for last. This man, I want you to tell me about him. Asghar Ali Hassan Ali.
Oh my God! Let's recite Surah Fatiha for him first.
Yes, of course. Bismillah.
Asghar Ali, guy with a heart of gold.
Heart of gold.
Man, yeah. Every other day, me and Asghar, we talked every other day, and I mean, most of, like, let's say, the hardest time was like going on the road in Ramzan when you were fasting and driving. One person,
The call is Asghar Ali.
they'll always always pick up my phones,
Yeah.
Asghar Ali.
100%, man.
Yeah, and call Asghar Ali, and here we go. Yeah, man, I miss the guy, man.
I missed him a lot. We talk about it with Sammy, but Sammy made a good point. I said, Sammy, when you cut him open, he bled challengers, but Sammy said, no, man, when you cut him open, he bled Allentown. He bled volleyball. He bled everyone. He wanted everyone to do well. And we always miss him. We always miss him. It's different now, man. Like seeing Allentown and not having Asghar Ali there in the background, in my ear, telling me he's going to kick my ass, and blah, 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 man. But I miss every moment of that. Yeah. I'm sure you guys do too. We'll end with this. Give me your predictions. I want to know, who do you think is going to be in the finals, and who do you think wins this one?
So it's going to be hard for me to predict because nobody knows how he's going to fall out, right?
Yeah.
I would say it's going to be between Stars, Orlando, and Minnesota.
Okay.
So the reason I say that is, out of these three teams, two are going to probably verse each other.
Yeah, at some point in the semis. Yeah.
In the semis.
Yeah.
And the other one will. So out of these three, it's anyone.
It's anyone.
Well, I am rooting for Turab.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think everyone knows, everyone talks about it. He's got all the pieces. He's got everyone knows Lambada, Imran Nasser, Amir, Doc. Like he's got everybody, right? Like all hands on deck for him too, right?
And himself.
And him, of course, himself is number one, right? So it's the
But
one. It's the one.
Again, we're coming too.
Yeah. Hey. And I love that about you guys. Sammy said the same thing. I love that about you guys. Thank you so much, Ahmed. I appreciate all your time, all your efforts to make this happen. Thank you for finally saying yes to do this, and
Thank you.
and thank you for sharing with us your career, because I'm glad that now to tomorrow, and I talked to this about Sammy, Azhar has something to look back at. You know, Aman has something to look back at. Maybe if I get to live long enough, one day I'll interview them.
Inshallah.
That'll be pretty cool.
Salman, I must say thank you very much for keeping up with me and finally, you know, convincing me.
Yes.
To come on. And well, I guess I'm not a camera shy anymore now.
You're not, right? Look, you did a great job. I mean, we've been doing this for what, 2.5 hours now. I mean, you did awesome.
Yeah.
You're a natural. You're a natural. But most people are naturals when they come on here. So they're great. You're awesome. It was always a fun time. Again, like I said, a mentor for me, a person I've always looked up to. So thank you for being here. And I'm excited to see what happens next week. Imran Nasser, United Stars. And that is when we'll reveal hopefully some of the schedule. And Imran Nasser's got a lot to talk about. And it's going to be good to hear about, from them and one person from them and what their aspirations are. But again, Ahmed, thank you so much. All love to Azhar, all love to Aman and Allentown Union. Hopefully you guys do amazing things.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you, and my best to your family as well.
Thank you, man. Good night, everybody. I love you all. See you next week.